Hello, guys. A couple things before we begin. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Not too many updates before we do the article. That's why you don't see my big face. You just see me in the corner. All right. First things. First things first. I am doing research for that video, the one you guys requested, which is going to be the Lelouch and Light. Who is smarter? And in honor of doing that, I got this from the library. So you guys can see that. That is Death Note. Yes. I not only have watched the show, I'm now going to the manga because I was talking to certain people on Reddit. They were saying, if you got questions, read the manga. It's much better than the anime. Especially the second half. If you guys are familiar with Death Note or not, but the second half of Death Note is like a crap show, and they kind of rushed the whole story so that the manga's better. And speaking of that, to do that video about the Lelouch and Light, who is smarter, to take a little longer than I expected, so I don't think the video will be out. Well, it won't be out this Thursday. I'm trying to do every other week at this point, so I'm thinking it might be 3 weeks. So what I'll try to do instead is do a simpler video. I was thinking either, and I'll post this in I'll post this in a post, but just to like give you guys a preview, it's either going to be how to not only survive the FLEIJA, or it's going to be the top 10 OMG WTF moments in Code Geass. So it's going to be one or the other. We will see. Personally, I like to talk about the Nunnally situation because that's both one of the smartest parts about Code Geass and arguably the dumbest. But we'll see what happens. All right, let's actually get to the topic of today. We are going to debunk another CBR article. This one is, seemingly seemed like a smart one, but as you're going to find out, like every other CBR article, it's always the same thing. You click on it thinking, oh, this might be interesting, and then you go through it in like 3 seconds, and you realize to yourself, that was a waste of my life. So I figured, hey, if I'm going to waste part of my life, you guys are going to be with me doing the same thing. Jokes aside, though, the clickbait is real. All right. This one is called Code Geass, the 5 smartest and 5 dumbest strategies used by the characters. Now, don't expect them to actually give you real arguments that are based on the show or just logic in general. To put it concretely, this is created by someone who didn't watch the show or went on Wikipedia for like 20 minutes because you guys are not going to like this one. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe you're a masochist like I am. Code Geass is a series known for the way its characters plot against each other. But hey, not everyone can be a master tactician, or a good writer, or even a fan of the show, or watch the show. Anyways, Lelouch and Code Geass has a very intricate plan to free Japan from the influence of Britannia and to get them out of the clutches of the Empire. I feel like that's the same goal. Those are not mutually exclusive. I think one would... Anyway, whatever. They're trying to make 2 points in one sentence, even though it's the same point. There are a lot of moving parts to it, and he's one of the most intelligent characters in anime in recent history. Wouldn't the proper sense to say because he's doing this, it makes him one of the most intelligent? I feel like the second part of this is unrelated to the first. Anyhow, he manages to pull up a lot of things that would have been much harder for people who weren't as smart. Okay. The sentence structure is kind of whatever. But some things don't go right, either because of his own mistakes or because our people can't be controlled as easily. And he thinks, even with the use of Geass, here are the 5 smartest strategies in place in Code Geass and 5 the dumbest. Now, here's something interesting, right? So it's saying 5 dumbest and smartest strategies, but then as you're looking at this, it talks about like Lelouch's strategies. So is this about, like, wouldn't you just be more generic, like everyone has a plan in Code Geass and therefore some work out and some don't? But now it's saying it's talking about Lelouch specifically, and then it goes to the more generic. I would say, look, in Code Geass, characters have a plan. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In the series, you can argue that the strategies of the characters could have been better. Could have been more thought out, more. We're gonna discuss those in this article. Instead, it goes like, hey, Lelouch is smart. That's not relevant. This is not about the article is not five smartest and dumbest strategies used by Lelouch. It's five smartest and dumbest strategies used by all the characters, not just Lelouch. But okay, whatever. I'm trying and I shouldn't be. Okay, here we go. Smartest, giving Lelouch the Geass. C2 is the character responsible for giving Lelouch the Geass. This sets everything in motion. For Lelouch to be able to rebel against his own family, ultimately lead to the liberation of Japan from Britannia's rule. I put the apostrophe as because I forgot. C2 makes a good choice in giving Lelouch the Geass, even if she doesn't yet know what he's been able to accomplish with it. Okay. I don't even know where to begin with this. I guess we can start with some basic stuff. She doesn't know what he's going to be able to accomplish with it. Yes, that's true, but she knew he could be the one to free her of her curse. That's kind of why she gave him the Geass. Also, keep in mind it was a bit of desperation. It wasn't like C2 had a lot of time to think about it. Lelouch was the only one near her, and I mean, like I get it, but they make this seem this is more deliberate than it actually was. I mean, yes, was it like a smart strategy? Sure, it was. It was definitely smart to give it to him. They just make it seem like it was more of like either deliberate or was it dumb luck. I can't tell which. And the idea that it sets everything in motion. All right, fine. There's a lot of weird. The way they worded was kind of weird. Also with CBR, they often will take a non, I guess you say, strong stance on stuff. So, eh. Let's move on to the next one. Nothing really controversial here. It's only the way it was written. All right. Number 9, dumbest. Not realizing V2 is the real villain. Lelouch gets really hung up on his dad being a bad guy, which makes sense since he's the ruler of Britannia and the person responsible for the oppression of Japan. But this single-minded focus on his father keeps him from recognizing how many of his strings Uncle V2 is pulling behind the scenes. Considering that he's a weird, immortal child, one might think that everything points to V2 as the real bad guy, but Lelouch doesn't know this quickly enough. Okay. There's a lot of weirdness with this one. Number 1, when does Lelouch even know about V2? What, turn 5? When does Lelouch even meet V2? What is it? During the Geass massacre, right? I mean, to suggest like he acted too soon? No, he acted pretty well actually, considering all the information he was given. The article says he was pulling strings behind the scenes. If it's behind the scenes, how would have Lelouch known about it? I'd argue that, given what he knew and what C2 knew, he acted pretty deliberate. And he kept... And another thing weird about this, too, throughout R2, he was trying to find the Geass Order to stop V2. So once he was aware V2 was the guy in charge of the Order, he was trying to take it down almost immediately. To suggest that he didn't find it fast enough is weird. He acted with the information he was given. So this is odd. If you like, it wasn't like Lelouch said at one point, that guy V2, you think he's the threat, C2? Nah, it's Charles. Alright, I won't focus on him then. What? If you want to, like, and how about this? He took out V2 first before he took out Charles. Like, the priority was to take out V2 before Charles. Charles happened to be the Sword of Akasha at the time during the... Well, he wasn't. He was there, and the door opened to him when they were at the Geass Order. What I'm saying is, his priority was to take out V2 first. So he clearly understood this. Like, the Order events and the story itself doesn't support this at all. You literally just watch, like, episodes, I guess, 14 to 15, and you know all this stuff. Wow. Pretty bad stuff. I mean, it... And to say it's dumb is kind of odd because they point out that he didn't notice quickly enough. If they had said he never noticed, then you can argue, yes, it was dumb. But he didn't say, that's not what they're arguing here. They're just saying he didn't realize it soon enough, so he's dumb. All right. Whatever. I'm not the genius who wrote this. All right. Smartest. Using the Geass to control people. While it might not be the most ethical, sound thing to do, Lelouch Geass allows him to command anyone to do anything he wants them to do. He uses this power very strategically and allows him to position people just where he needs them in order to make his plan work. While he should probably think deeply about how this power can be used for evil, he's actually doing some good in the world. Okay, so I'm going to try to be as friendly as possible with this one. And I guess we go to the comments real quick. It says here, using the Geass to control people. All right. Well, what else was he going to do with it? I mean, that's what it does, right? It controls people. This is really weird. I mean, because here they're saying he getting the Geass is smart, which we all agree is correct. But they're saying he's using it to control people. Like, aren't you kind of saying that's just weird because that's like I don't understand. Like it's not. Yes, I guess you'd argue he used the power that he got, therefore he was smart to use it. I guess if that's the argument they're making. But yes, obviously, like how about talk about like what Lelouch did in Narita? That was a pretty smart strategy, right? To use the Gurian Satan, not Satan, Mark II at the time, right? The radiant wave surger to cause the rock slide. That was pretty smart. How about blowing up the JLF ship to bait as bait, or use the JLF as bait so they can come and attack Cornelia at Port Yokozuka? That was a pretty smart strategy. This is like stating the obvious. It was smart. Lelouch used Lelouch had an advantage over people, and he used it. And it's like, oh, there was the most ethically sound thing to do. You're right, because Lelouch was fighting against the most ethically powerful empire. What? Okay, I don't know. This is more like a duh and kind of stupid at the same time. All right, one more. I'll get to the comments here. This one, when I was going through this article, this one triggered me, which is dumbest. Using the Geass when he can no longer control it. As Lelouch gets more powerful, so does the Geass. That means he can't really control it anymore. He finds that he's commanding people without meaning to. It's not a great way to be, since telling people to do things they may not actually want to do is pretty messed up anyway. And since there's no way for him to control it, he should probably be trying to figure out how to state things in a less commanding way. Okay. Let's go over some facts of the story that if anyone actually watched, they would know, alright? Number one, Lelouch only used the command when he had no control over Yuffie. That's it. After that, C2 gave him an eye contact lens, so he never would do it again. There is no other point in the story where Lelouch accidentally commands someone to do something he never intended. So how can you say it was dumb when it never happened? And if you want to go further with it, the reason that the thumbnail I posted showed Yuffie, and I wrote a comment, the title says, "Was this planned?" And the answer is no. No, it wasn't planned. That was an accident. I know that he tells Zaku, I did it to motivate the Japanese people, but let's be honest here. No, it was an accident. There isn't any point in the story where Lelouch, first of all, used a strategy to accidentally command people. Think about that for a moment. How is it a strategy to accidentally do something that's out of your control? That doesn't make any sense. Because what they could have said was, he didn't cover up his eyes, which is not, it's inaccurate, but at least that would have been a strategy. Like, not covering your eyes when walking around with your Geass power. Okay, sure. But that's not even what happened in the story. This never happens. I don't know, like, what they're talking about. It was a one-time. And you know this is so generic because they don't even mention the SAS. You know, Special Administrative Zone in Japan. They don't even mention it here. So, not only is this generic, wrong, but, like, it's so weird. Like, a strategy, I can't think of a strategy you would implement where you accidentally could do something stupid. And Lelouch is supposedly a smart guy. And they mentioned also, like, commanding people to do stuff in general is pretty messed up. We're not arguing the ethics of Geass. We're arguing the effectiveness of a strategy. It doesn't say here the top 5 ethical and non-ethical strategies used by characters. I think it's not ethical, right? We're arguing if they were effective. There should be no judgment cast on the character. That's not the topic here. That point doesn't make any sense. This is man. Wow, how do we start off so good in a theory, like stating a fact. Okay, sure. Then we get to like, well, huh? And then this is again the obvious. And then here we're like, this is just when you try to do some kind of like level of analysis and you fail. Like, I don't know. All right, let's go through some comments real quick, and then we'll continue on with this, even though I'm already kind of I don't know. Okay. ADSF, ASDF. I guess you were good at typing. I think that's why you did that, right? Those are the keys where you that's how you find your keys when you're typing without looking. Hello there. Another, how's it going? Another. I'm not sure if you were at the last stream. I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and I didn't use the translator, but I tested using BlueStacks, and it worked pretty well. So for the next stream, or not next stream, but when Janissary Code comes out, I think we should be good for showing off the game. I'm really excited about that. Here's your first like. Thank you. I read number 10. Not only did it give us a really good show, also Lelouch completed C2's mission. Kinda. Yep. Right. I mean, the thing about that point is just that it's like no duh. I would have liked something a little more like I said, the poor Yokozuka, Narita, right? The way he handled Mao. I mean, there are actually, like, when I think of strategies, and just to be clear, like, I think of something a little more than just like a generic, well, he did this. I'm more like an actual event. I guess that's what this is. This one is just, I don't know. It wouldn't be like that. This is generic. This is wrong. Okay. How's everyone doing? I'm doing okay. Good. C2, given the code was a little bit of both of a plan and a spur of the moment. Right, exactly. It wasn't just, and the thing that I was saying here, it almost like they're implying that she planned to give it to Lelouch. I mean, she does explain in turn 15 that it had to been him to do it, but it also was spur of the moment. That's right. She knew Lelouch from her past, that's correct, from his mother, but she didn't plan on being captured and him rescuing her. Exactly. That's why it was a little deceptive when they wrote that. Where are we? Off topic, but the fight between Suzaku and the Knights of the Round was amazing, especially in the dub. Yeah, when he in turn 22, when he cleans house, it's one of the best parts. It's amazing. Except there's one problem with it, and it's not even the fact that Suzaku kills him. We only get one scene with Dorothea Ernst, and if you're wondering who that is, that's the Black Knight of the Realm member. She has like one scene and she's killed, and I'm like, are you serious? We don't even see her nightmare frame. We don't even see Monica's nightmare frame. We only see them in the Oz Reflection manga. So, but that's not related to him destroying them. It was great. Kogias for PlayStation 2, must play worth your time. Is that colors? I think that's colors. Bruv is the only thing you can do. Exactly. I would phrase it loose understanding the power of the Geass and strategic resources it was. Understanding how to use it to gain information or manipulate those he needed to achieve the ends. Yeah, see, that would have been fine. If they had said using the Geass correctly to succeed in his mission, okay, you got something there. But just stating he used it doesn't mean it was, now I think about it, just because he used it doesn't even mean it was smart. Using it correctly. And it does say uses the power strategically allows him to position where he needs to be, but it wasn't, I don't know. They do kind of say here he used the power very strategically, but I would have said here using the power of Geass correctly. But in their defense, they do state this here. But again, even then, it's still kind of a no duh. That's my problem with it, considering their actual bigger strategic applications that, like as a side note, used Geass correctly, but were bigger than that. Okay, continue on here. The whole point was that Lelouch didn't know he could You can no longer control the Geass only after you use it on Yuffie. That was the moment he understood he could no longer use it. I just finished for you. Yep, right, exactly. But he wasn't like planning to do that all the time. So I finished rewatching Code Geass today. Awesome. Um, how is not being able to control something a choice? How is not being able to control something a choice? Oh, I see what you're saying. You're right. That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that because they're suggesting he chose to use it when he had no control. But if he has no control, then it's not. Yeah. Now my head hurts. Thanks a lot. But you're right. By episode 5, you should tell. You shouldn't be able to tell. It's not a fairy tale. By episode 5, are you referring to turn 5 or stage 5? I'm not sure I quite understand that. Okay, back to Hill. Crimson King. Also, they are proving to be a hypocrite. 8 was saying using the Code Geass is good. 7 says it was bad. Yeah, that's not. Well, yeah, they're putting like they're putting some kind of moral judgment on here, and I'm just confused because this is not decided. This is not like the worst things Lelouch ever did. Which, by the way, that'd be a fun topic. I might do that in the future. This is not like rating the actions of the Code Geass characters by morality or something or ethics. None of that was actually stated here. So putting your judgment is not asked for and irrelevant. But yeah, it's a good point. I don't know, and the 8th already pissed me off. Yeah, it's not good. V2 is the real villain. Not really. Sure, V2 pulled strings, but Charles was still the main villain. Well, the main villain, Code Geass, is already a debated topic, because you also have Schneisel, too, right? He was kind of a villain. Well, maybe anti-hero, because he believed what he was doing was right, and he made some good points, but he was going to kill over 1 billion people, so you judge that how it is. V2 and Charles working together to slay God. They both weren't. Yeah, they both weren't good people. You could argue Charles was really a puppet working for V2, because notice how V2 seemed to be like the guy who did a lot of the real dirty work. At the same time, though, was V2 the real villain? No, I don't. I don't think so. He definitely pulled the strings in certain elements, but yeah, I would say between the two, it's most likely Charles, especially at the end where Charles basically took the code from V2. So yeah, I would say looking at it from that point of view, I think you could even argue that that Charles was never going to even work with V2 at the end because he was quick to take the code from him. So from that point of view, yeah, I think Charles was the real villain, or Schneisel. One or the other. It was not V2. I agree. Alternate title: making fun of CBR for X amount of time. Well, that's every video. That's every time we do this. Steve's Jobs coked out brother. Did you make that? That's a nice username. Give a guess to when Zero Capture will be released. Good question. There's an announcement in August for Genocide Code and Zero Capture. I'm going to talk about it, obviously. If I speak Japanese, I would love to like stream it live and tell you guys what I'm thinking as I'm watching it. But I definitely will talk about it. They're going to announce something. They've been like holding back because the first announcement was what, in December, and now we're in August. That's like what, 8-9 months from now, so, or 10. So they have that something going on, okay? And that's the plan. That's what I'm understanding. The game should be coming out next month, which is great. I'm gonna trial that translator. I'm gonna play it on here. It's gonna be awesome. Except no dash for some reason. They can't have dash. DLC hopefully in the future. Alright. Have you done an article ranking the Code Geass characters? I have done a top hated characters. I have done the most beautiful women. I've done the best women. So not by look, but like their actual role in the story. I have not done the hottest guys. I have not done the best male characters, and I've not done my favorite characters either. So I definitely have to do those at some point. I made a I have like a bunch of quick lists. I haven't written them out yet, where I kind of just roll like a brief list of everything, like top characters, top nightmare frames, which I did already. Top saddest deaths in Code Geass, top OMG WTF moments. I have like a list of all of them. It's just putting it together, man. I mean, this is so rough. I only have I'm like crocodile tears here, but like, or not crocodile tears. Play the violin, but like I only have a certain amount of time to either prepare a video or work on some articles, and it's like I just, God, YouTube is, it's a lot of fun, but man, it's a lot of work. That was a complicated answer. So the question is no and yes. All right, continuing on here. I think Charles was the true big bad, while Schneisel, Cornelia, V2 were the secondary antagonists, and Clovis. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Clovis was not anything, except a minor nuisance. Cornelia was annoying. Cornelia was annoying to me. I have no idea why. Well, she was kind of racist, so I get it. But she's attractive though, so it's okay. If Cornelia looked like Nina, nobody would like Cornelia. But because Cornelia is attractive looking, she gets away with being evil. Same with Schneisel. Schneisel's really attractive looking, so that's why. Um, anyways, we go more here. What specifically made you a big fan of Kogias? Oh, I watched it when it first came out. Well, not when it first came out, but like it came out what, 06, 07? I watched it in 010, and that's why. It was one of the first shows I watched. I'm gonna do a video like this at some point. I keep saying this, but like I mean it though, about how I got into anime, but I'll summarize it in like one sentence. I watched Bleach, and from Bleach I watched Ronin Kenshin, GTO, Monster, Trigun, Kogias, Death Note, because those are all like pop. Well, the ones that came out in the 90s weren't as popular, I guess, but like that's when the Death Note and Kogias just came out, and they were still very popular shows. And of course, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So Bleach was like the first one, and that led me to the others. And why Kogias? Well, two reasons. That's Saz and the ending. The Yuffie scene and then the ending of the show. I was thinking about that stuff for weeks after it happened. That's why. Clovis was a good Star villain. Yes, he was. Oh man, Clovis is an example of like what happens when you have data and you don't apply it correctly. Oh, we have a bunch of dots on screen. Let's just make them all go to the center. Nothing will bad happen there. It looks like you are the stupidest person to have ever done anything in your life. Like, you made this so easy. So I'm going to debate with my friends whether or not Zero counts as a superhero. Well, I mean, if he's protecting the innocent and he has a superpower, then yeah. I mean, isn't Batman a superhero and he has no super abilities? So I think it's because if your friends don't think of him as a hero, then he's not a superhero, I guess. But then again, isn't don't people consider Deadpool? I know it's different than Batman because of Marvel and DC, but like don't people consider Deadpool to be an anti-hero, but he's still a hero? Or Rorschach, or now I'm back to DC, or The Question. Like, they're anti-heroes, right? But they're still heroes, so I don't think it matters. As long as someone's fighting for good. Or what's that guy? That our superhero. He's no powers, but he's like a boxer. Black Cat, I think. Is it Black Cat? 1 second. All right, we're going on a little tangent here. I think it's not Black Cat. DC hero, boxer. What is his name? Oh, are you serious? Wow. Not the briefs, Jesus. DC heroes, no powers. Oh, let's see. Oh, got an RC article. I apologize for subjecting you to more crap. I just want to see if he's listed here. Black Canary has powers. Oh my god. Oh my god. I didn't mean to go here, but Jesus. Black Canary has power. Wildcat. That's it. That's it. I am thinking of Wildcat. Thank you so much. Yes. Wildcat is he's more of an anti-hero, but he's still considered a superhero. Anyways, I apologize for subjecting you to this awful list that includes a character with actual superpowers. They won't come on the bull crap. Nobody from Watchmen, Renee Montoya, Tim and Damien. Okay. Anyways. Yes, Wildcat. So, you weren't supposed to see that. Anyhow, yeah, it is what it is. But I don't think it. I think that's just the argument they're probably making. Getting on here. Wait, I think about Britannia is like us. Think about Puerto Rico. They banned people from being able to vote. Huh. I'm not really sure. It's like us. Oh, that's awful. Sad but true. Yeesh. I was thinking the same thing. I see people playing Deadpool and watch superheroes, so like if they count superheroes, so should Lelouch. Or I think a Wildcat. Okay. Alright, my voice just like cracked. Can I get some water? Alright, next point. Yeah, I think you can be a superhero if you're an anti-hero. I've never heard of a super anti-hero. Oh, USA? That's what you're referring to? That we think about Puerto Rico, they banned people from being able to vote. Oh, the USA banned people from Puerto Rico being able to vote. Is that what you were saying? That's interesting. If that's not what you're saying, you clarify it later. It's totally cool. Although I must say, even though Geass has politics, I don't generally talk about actual politics for obvious reasons. Okay. Anyways, let's talk about number 6. Okay. Smartest strategy. Distributing zero costumes. Lelouch has pretty bananas plan in order to protect the Japanese people from the Britannian Empire. Disguised as Zero, he gets himself exiled from the Empire, which means he also has to leave Japan. I think you could have just said, disguised as Zero, he gets exiled from Japan and then thus from the Empire? Alright, man. Take care of Steve Jobs, coked out brother. Anyways. He takes millions of people with him by handing out Zero costumes to all of them. Since no one knows Zero's identity, this means they're all exiled. He takes them all with him to establish a settlement away from Britannian rule. Was this the smartest strategy he ever had? That's the question you gotta ask here. The smartest strategy. No, I don't think this was smarter than what happened in Narita or Yokozuka or even the Zero Requiem. I don't think any of this was smarter than those. This is actually more absurdum. And, you know, I like Geass, I'm not gonna lie, but there are certain parts that are kind of odd. They never really do say where the costumes came from. They also don't explain when Lelouch actually got in contact with the Chinese Federation to get the that human-made island to transport them. They don't really discuss either of those things. So to say like it's the smartest, it was creative. Was it the smartest though? I guess in a world of subjectivity in your lists, maybe. That's not how yeah, I don't know. I, it was it seemed like more luck sack to me, but okay, whatever. Dumbest, recreating the special administrative zone of Japan. Not only tries to recreate an attempt at making this as essentially is a place where people will be considered citizens of Japan and have some rights that colonial subjects don't have. But because the first attempt at this led to a massacre of the Japanese subject by Britannian Empire, this second attempt has a lot of pushbacks and people assume they will die again. They end up taking refuge in China's Federation, which makes them refugees, no longer citizens of Japan. So what they're saying is because the people ran away to flee, therefore the plan didn't work. Because the plan didn't work, it was therefore dumb. I have 2 thoughts on this. Number 1, was it smart to bring it back? To be honest, what else were they going to do? They had to find some way to, one, again, since Zero came back, they got to find a way to stop him, and it worked the last time. Well, it was going to work. Let's say that much. And not only wanted to respect the wishes of Euphemia and do this. That's why she did it. It was for Euphemia. And again, the plan would have worked had it not, like, I know, obviously no one knows the inside scoop, but it would have worked if Lelouch didn't Geass Yuffie. By accident, by the way. Not planned. By accident. I don't think this was the dumbest strategy. In fact, when we're done with this article, I'll go over a couple of actual dumb things. This is not one of them. This is more of a agree to disagree, where it's like, I can see this both ways. On one end, yes, people didn't trust them. Does that make it dumb? It just means it may not succeed. Dumb ideas may not... Here's the point. I don't think you can associate something that fails with it being dumb, because it might have been a good idea, just it was the wrong time. I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you start a channel in 2000 or well, that makes sense. YouTube was around then. 2010 or something. You made a D&D channel, something like Critical Role, right? But the timing was awful, so it failed. There was no traction. No one was interested. Was it a dumb idea? No. Did it fail? Yes. And we know that a D&D channel is not a bad idea because Critical Role, what, 3 million subscribers, and it's like one of the biggest things ever. And even though Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey are well-known voice actors, I think they're more loved for that than they are for their actual voice acting. At least the panels at comic conventions I've been to would suggest that. So you can't conflate dumb with failing. Those are two different things. And bringing it back in, maybe it was lazy. You could argue lazy, but not dumb. So I disagree. And given everything that happened because of it, it actually worked because they got everyone who was going to rebel anyways off Japan. So guess what? There was no fighting anymore. So in some level, it did succeed on what they wanted to do. And we don't even know, this is the part that always confused me. So everyone left, but they could have kept it going for the people who didn't want to leave. And I think there's nothing wrong in general because, like, the whole Empire supported it. Well, Charles supported it, and we know why, but, like, Nelly did it for Yuffie, so I go back and forth, but I don't see why it's dumb. I can see why maybe lazy. Smartest, making Nelly a popular ruler. Wait a minute. But if this was a dumb idea, that... What? Okay. Part of Lucia's entire plan is to make sure his sister Nelly was in a good position to live a happy life once the rebellion ended. And he is. Presumably no longer around, he only puts Nelly in a perfect position to lead in his stead, giving her something important to do and giving the people a ruler who's going to be their best interest in mind. So this wasn't a dumb idea. Or was it? Or are you saying Lucia's response? So making Nelly a popular ruler? Was she actually popular? Was there any polls? I don't remember if there was any polls taken in the show where it implied that Nelly was popular. She was looking out for the best interest of the Japanese people, and yes, Lelouch left because he wanted to stop having to make it peaceful in the area. Those are true statements. But was she popular because of it? Ipso facto, I don't know. I think that might be a little bit of headcanon right there. What they want to say here is that, or what they should have said was, Lelouch leaving Japan to protect Nunnally was a smart idea. That I would agree with, and that is that's blindly empirical in the story. But what they're saying here is a little bit, it's not entirely accurate. I get what they're saying, I'll give them a pass. But, man, it's like CBR's articles. They are so close, but they are so far. Alright, let's go to the next one, which is just... Okay. Number 3, dumbest. Shooting Shirley. Rolo is pretty unhinged and has absolutely terrible control over his emotions. I wonder why. This makes him a bit of a wild card. And though he supports Lelouch. Supports? No, he worships him. He loves him. That's all that matters to him. He literally says, what was it, in turn 14, he's like, as long as I have my brother, everything's A-okay. I'm like, this guy is insane. Unhinged, yes. Supports Lelouch. Supports would be such, that's an understatement. He can't be trusted around his allies. Yeah, I guess. He has killed people in the past, that's true. Who were his allies. He shoots Shirley because he's jealous of her intimacy with Lelouch. No, that's not why he killed her. That's absolutely not why he killed her. He was totally fine. When she said, I want to bring happiness back into his life, he was a little upset. But then when she said, let's help him reunite with Nunnally, that's when he killed her. It had nothing to do with her being intimate with Lelouch. He could give it. He didn't care. What bothered him was that she suggested that Nunnally should be with Lelouch. And Rolo believed, no, it's only me. There is no Nunnally. In turn 18, during the Battle of Tokyo 2, he was going to kill Nunnally. So it had nothing to do with Shirley being intimate. He doesn't care. It's about siblings, not romantic relationships. That's not what happened at all. That's a horrible take on what was going on there. It was jealousy because she brought up Nunnally. Now, they do say that the second part, which is accurate, but the first part was not right. And he doesn't want her to help. He doesn't want her to help Lelouch get Nunnally back since he's jealous of Nunnally. Again, it's not a matter of. I mean, it is jealous, but it's more like he's possessive. He doesn't want anyone else having him. I guess we can use jealous. That's maybe it's not the best term. This is a bad move on Rolo's part, and it changes how Lelouch feels about the Geass and makes him want to destroy all the Geass so that people like Shirley wouldn't die again. That means Rolo would be killed too. I will agree on some of this point, but I will agree on and disagree on most of it. The only part I'll agree with is that Rolo will be killed. That part I agree. If Rolo sees that Shirley is close to Lelouch and he kills her, then Lelouch is going to want to kill him. That part I agree with. The whole Geass Order, there's no way he could have predicted that. That's like, Rolo doesn't have foresight. He's not that smart, and more importantly, there's no way you can't argue that Rolo should have figured out that, like, if he killed Shirley, it would lead to a chain of events that would cause Lelouch to go to the Geass Order to kill everyone who supports Geass and then himself. Like, that's like hindsight, man. No. Again, so close, but so far. Part of this is correct and part of it isn't. All you had to say was, Rolo killing Lelouch was a big mistake because Lelouch was close to Shirley, which I thought they knew, and like the OSI, I thought they were aware of this, because didn't Valletta mention to everyone in the room, right? And Rolo was there, that Shirley's head over heels for you, right? She made it pretty clear like that she cares about him. So Rolo knew this way before he killed her, and yet he was still whatever. He's lucky Lelouch was able to keep his cool until that one part where he swore at him. At least in the subbed of the film, apparently he was swearing at him. But the point is, like, you're right. The killing Shirley was bad because Lelouch ended up wanting to kill him. Was it a dumb decision? Dumb is subjective here. Dumb in the sense that it would piss off Lelouch, yes. Dumb in the sense you're trying to get closer to Lelouch and keep away from Nunnally? No. If that's Rolo's goal, it was a smart move. Kill everyone. You want to isolate Lelouch, so kill everyone who get in the way. And then say, oh, she knew your identity. She was a threat to you. Rolo didn't. It was like Rolo shot Shirley, and he was like, Lelouch, she was getting too close to you personally. I couldn't handle it. And she wanted you to go back to Nunnally. I couldn't have that. He tried to lie to him, essentially what happened. Lelouch is not stupid, but maybe he would have predicted that. But still, I'm like, eh. And again, keep in mind, this is a list of every strategy in the show, not just like one character. And this is the best I got. Alright, we'll do one more and I'll read some comments. Number 2, smartest. Lelouch using himself as a scapegoat. Okay. Lelouch's whole plan revolved around eventually turning himself into a bad guy. He essentially installs himself as a new direct dictator in Japan, which didn't go over well with a group of people who have been dealing with an imperial regime for a long time and worked hard to get under its thumb. Taking on this role unites everyone in their desire to not be ruled over, but the rebels who have been working with Lelouch and people who have been resisting the rebellion, it creates a common goal for all the people. If I had a soundbite, I'd play Hello Darkness, My Old Friend. There is so much with this that is ridiculous. This is so generic. Lelouch using himself as a scapegoat. Just say Zero Requiem. He became the new dictator in Japan. No, he wasn't. No. God, no. I'm now thinking of Stephen Carell in The Office. No, God, no. I don't mean to be hyperbolic, but how do you get this wrong? He wasn't a dictator of Japan. He was a dictator of the world. The world. How did you miss that scene when he was like, is that world? No, he said, I, Lelouch, command the world to obey me. He took over Britannia with his Geass. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I don't mean to be like, again, a little bit mature here, but like, this is an example of someone, of a case where you literally have no idea what the hell you're talking about. CBR has said, and I'm gonna go to it right now. I'll open a new tab. If you go to God, this article, I don't want PTSD, but if you go to the very bottom, they have a thing. Fact-checking policy, okay? Let me read this crap to you. We strive for 100% accurate headlines and apply rigorous vetting process to every news article on the site. Rumors, inside reports are identified according to ensure identification between confirmed information and industry buzz that is of no interest to our readers. Before any article is written, we ensure the information is new and accurate. We verify the source and always dig down to the original source and reference material if applicable. Before the writing process begins, even if other outlets report an unsubstantial piece of news as unofficial confirmation that's not relevant to roundup news, we don't post clickbait, you know. Our headlines might be bold, but we don't throw out broad statements just to sound bold. It has to be accurate and fact-checked. CBR articles don't report the news. Don't just report the news. I'm about to say they don't report the news. We provide industry-leading context to explain why this happened to you. Anytime we cover a thing, like, this is such crap. Are you serious? We've gone over, you go on my channel, look at all the different videos or articles I've covered, and everything is inaccurate on the smallest level, like the one about the top 10 uses of Geass, where they literally got the order wrong. They couldn't clarify what they meant by the first 10, and they also got that wrong too because they missed characters within the events, and they clearly showed it. So no, you guys don't fact check anything. How do you, like? I mean, there was one article, I forgot which one it was. Gladiator King's not here, but maybe he is, I don't know. But there was one person, they had an article where they called it the Lelouch Requiem. At least they were somewhat on the ball. I mean, they don't even say zero Requiem. That's it. Zero Requiem. That was the smartest plan. I agree. And by that actually number one. Oh, I think it is number one, technically, because they do like 5 dumb and 5 smartest. Like, it's just, there's not even necessarily wrong with like what they're saying on a macro level, but it's just, when you write something like this, how does that get through their vetting process? I have no idea. Now, what's also funny about this too is that it says it doesn't go over well with a group of people who've been dealing with the imperial regime. It doesn't go over well with anybody. He literally said, "I control the world." There is literally a part. Oh, Gladiator King. There is literally a part that when Lelouch is going down the aisle, not the aisle. What's the wedding? He's in his personal transport during the execution, and there's people saying, "Shh, don't say anything. You'll die. You know, they'll kill you." A group of people were not happy? No, nobody was happy. Usually when a dictator runs the country, the only people who are happy are the people who are part of the inner circle. No one else is happy. Literally nobody. This is so dumb. I'm losing little brain cells reading this. And if you want to go further with the whole Requiem, you could talk about how he combined the UFN with Britannia to make it more of a democracy. He used the Geass on Schneider to make him serve Zero, which is important because while Schneider is a evil person, I think should be killed, but whatever, they didn't want to kill him. He could serve Zero, and that'd be helpful. And Nelly became the head of Britannia. So he put everything in place so that when he died, the rule would continue on without him, and the dictatorship was destroyed. They don't mention any of that in this brilliance. Just because you unite the world against you as an evil, if you don't have like a plan after you go, the peace won't last. The peace won't last. We'll go back to where we were. If there was a dictatorship that ran the country, it's going to continue because a new guy will take over. You have to put things into place so that when you go, the world will continue in a positive light. They don't mention any of that. Just a universal evil can only take you so far. Unbelievable. Actually, is it really though? No, it's not. All right, we'll read some comments and we'll get to number one, which I've already flashed several times, but whatever. Okay. Nelly is an overly optimistic teen, so it makes sense that she would make the wisest decisions. Yeah, and they put her in there because she's part of the royal family. In a top 5 list of the smartest, um, the Zero was a huge gamble that counted on understanding of Zaku's psychology and luck. That's true. If Zaku was trigger happy, they all would have died. Fair point. As for the ship, he got it from Lelouch and K, possibly also got the costumes. But did they discuss that beforehand or they discussed that after the fact? I think you're right. It's I guess I should watch the episode again. I don't remember them actually having that conversation, but right, that makes sense. I think a dumb choice was Charles rewriting Lucius' memories instead of just getting him rid of no good. Yeah, you know what? That actually was pretty dumb. I mean, you know what I would say about this article since you brought it up? If you're gonna go all out and actually like go through the series, like have fun with it, you know? Like actually put ideas that are kind of silly, but yeah, why not? That's actually dumb. Charles should just killed him. Why did you write him to be what's his name? Kingsley. What was the point of that? I agree. Wait, is Lelouch a simp? Apparently, in CBR's mind, and also they claim he's also a Yandere because he's overbearing on Nunnally, which, again, I don't see that at all. But all right, he doesn't let him boss him around. He actually doesn't. I'm not gonna do red pill stuff here, but I wouldn't consider Lelouch a beta male. If you guys know what that means, I bet he'd let Nunnally boss him around. I don't know because in that last I know it's not you guys going back and forth here, but in the very end of the conversation between Nunnally and Lelouch, Lelouch was basically telling Nunnally that like no, like I did this for you, and she's like I never wanted this. Lelouch's like, are you stupid? If I didn't do this, we would have died. Like we were being hunted, and we couldn't live like this. I was doing this for you. Are you? Wow, you ungrateful child. Which is funny. Isn't that what what's her name? Marianne told Lelouch, you ungrateful child. You're right, Mom. Thank you for sending me to a foreign country where I'm going to be hiding my entire life. Where if I go in public, I could be used as pawns for political gains. Thank you so much, Mom. I appreciate it. Next time you do it, make sure that you cripple me too. So me and Nelly have to both be in wheelchairs because, you know, don't make my life any easier. Anyways. Toward the end of the season 2, Lucy's devotionality fades away. It's not that it fades away. It's just that he doesn't focus. It's not as important to him. Or okay, I just contradicted myself. Let's try again. He doesn't worry as much about Nunnally because after they leave. All right, one more time. Okay, because Suzaku is with Nunnally all the time, he doesn't have to worry too much because he's gonna protect her. That's what I meant to say. When they left Japan, she was in the best of care because, again, Zaku was taking care of her. If you remember in the original, that's all original, in R1, Lucius is like, Suzaku, I got something to tell you and ask you. And Zaku's like, oh, I'm scared. That was during stage 17 when he went to go and execute Toto. So during that, what Lucius was going to ask him was, could you protect Nunnally? That's what he wanted. So he was protecting Nunnally the whole time. That's why he didn't worry as much, because literally the best warrior, I guess, unless you think Colin's better, not the topic for this debate or this video, but because the best warrior in Code Geass was taking care of Nunnally, he didn't have to worry about it. He may not agree with everything that Suzaku says, but he trusts him. That's why he wasn't as like involved in what she was doing. And plus, when he left Japan during the what they said here, when the Million Zeros, he was confident she'd be fine because they were the ones causing the ruckus. If they leave, then you know she's probably safe. That was his. That's why that was going on there. And that took like way longer than it should have to get that point across. Okay. Rolo killed Shirley because she said Nunnally, so he knew she got her memories back. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's a good point. So would your actually, you know why that's important? Because an important distinction. Rolo wasn't threatened because she liked Lelouch at all. He was aware of it. But when she mentioned Nunnally, then he was aware of something else. And he framed it to Lelouch as she remembered your identity, so she had to die. Reality was Nunnally. If you watch the facial expressions of Rolo from before he kills her, his face gets really angry when she mentions Nunnally. And also the Geass activate. He activates Geass as soon as she says Nunnally, his Geass went off. He was totally like he was a little pissed, but that Geass power, that's what Nunnally, that's what got him to actually use it and kill her. They don't mention it, by the way. These people generally do not watch the show. No, they don't. They don't watch any of the show. They don't care. Their only goal is to get you to click on their articles. They really don't care. The purpose of this stuff is to just get you to click on it, because when you read the actual articles, they don't make any sense. They don't answer any of the questions. They either reiterate from Wikipedia, or they have crappy takes that clearly show they didn't watch the series. Like the one we read last week about Lelouch versus like who would win. It was so horrible because it didn't actually take anything into account like we did in that stream. Yeah, the goal is to get you to click on stuff. They get people. I mean, if you think about it logistically, if you have people upload articles at such a massive rate without putting too much time into it, how good are articles going to be? I mean, CBR prioritizes quantity over quality, which is why this stuff sucks. But the titles are so clickbait, you'll click on them, which is, ugh. Like, dear God, Screen Rant pays more attention to what they're talking about than these fools. You know, Screen Rant owns CBR, right? And they also own Game Rant. It's the same company. It's all the same. Have you noticed, like, the style is the same? It's all the same. We read, I'm not sure if you saw Dark, but we read an article a couple weeks ago about the worst character arcs, and that was Screen Rant. And Gladiator King can tell you, or anyone else who was there, that was bad. That was really bad. There was some stuff said there that hurt me. This hurt me, and that was the worst. It's all the same. I fail to see a difference, but maybe there's some good ones in there. But when they cover shows like anime, when they cover anime, it's just the worst. I mean, yeah, I guess they do pay more attention to people they steal from. Okay. Hello, Gladiator King. A dumb choice was Shirley running around the school in her swimsuit because she didn't have time to change because of the slim possibility that someone would get the cat and kiss her. Yeah, she probably should have changed. I agree. That's not but we don't know how long it would take her to change. Wasn't Charles using Lelouch to try to draw out C2 because he needed her code for the Rad Rocket action? So I can see why he didn't kill Lelouch. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, he was also aware that she was with Lelouch early on, and oh god, now I'm about to go into a whole nother like rabbit hole. I guess I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, I guess. Okay, why didn't he kill him after he got C2 out? Like when C2 meets up with Charles, why didn't he kill him then? Or maybe he should be Rose Memories to better get out C2. Like, why not make him Julius Kingsley at Ashford Academy, as opposed to just normal Lelouch? But smart Julius Kingsley, because if we know that, I know you're probably thinking, well, if he was Julius Kingsley, wouldn't C2 figure it out? Well, no, because when he was under surveillance, he acted like normal Lelouch. So, he could pretend to be normal Lelouch to draw out C2, but then when she comes to him, he's actually Julius Kingsley. So, that would have been probably the smartest plan. Anyways, them being owned by the same people makes so much sense. You didn't know that? Like, Screen Rant owns all this crap. I mean, like, the presentation is exactly the same, but we're not going through the article yet. But, like, you see how, like, it's the same? It's all the same. Alright. Charles needed to be more fleshed out. He wasn't much in R1. Yeah, that's true. I wonder why C2 didn't tell Lelouch that she was friends with his mother, Marion, and that he'd been talking to her throughout the show. That's a good question. I don't know. I love the fan art. There's like one where it shows, was it Marion holding Lelouch as a child, and C2's there too, and she's telling Lelouch about it, and he's embarrassed, which is pretty funny. Anywho. Alright. Here we go. Number 1. This is the dumbest strategy in Code Geass, okay? This is the dumbest one. The FLEIJA. Yeah, man. Gotta stop burping at the good points. FLEIJA, which stands for Field Limitary Effective Implosion Armament. At least they went on Wikipedia to look. At least they looked at Wikipedia for more than a couple minutes. Essentially, it's a nuclear bomb. Nina Einstein is responsible for dropping this bomb on the Tokyo settlement. The only reason she does this is that she wants vengeance for the death of Euphemia, whom she cared about deeply. She pretty much immediately regrets doing this since she kills millions of innocent people, but it's pretty bad luck regardless if it doesn't achieve anything. Okay, wow. There's a lot to talk about this. Let's go over a couple of facts about this. Number one, she didn't drop the bomb, Suzaku did. If you're going to argue that a person who who creates a weapon is responsible, then the people who are really evil in Code Geass are Lloyd and Rakshata, because they made all the nightmare frames that kill everybody. But they're not listed here, right? And they didn't say dumbest nightmare frames. So if we're going to say that the person who made the weapon is responsible for the weapon's use, then I'm not sure how far you take then to determine who's responsible. But that's not even relevant here, okay? That's just like my first immediate thoughts reading this. Number two, again, like I said before, not necessarily relevant here in terms of like if it actually worked or not, but just because something failed doesn't mean it was dumb, okay? I already gave an example of why. So that doesn't work. Third point. Her plan was to get vengeance for Euphemia, but she regrets doing it. It looked pretty bad. Like, okay. What they're really saying here, and again, this is like I have to rethink this or put it into my own words because I can't articulate a coherent thought, but Nina using the FLEIJA to try to kill Zero. That's what they're trying to say. They're not arguing the FLEIJA itself is a dumb strategy. Okay? They're arguing that Nina requesting Suzaku to use it was a dumb strategy. That's what they should have said here, because obviously the FLEIJA is not a dumb strategy. If you want to control a population, it was pretty effective. That's how Lelouch became in charge of the world. He had the FLEIJAs. So obviously having it is not dumb. So I'm not arguing the point they're making, or I'm not arguing against the point they're making. I'm just pointing out that they should be more clear on what they're talking about. But she's not responsible for dropping the bomb. Again, that was Zaku and Schneizel. Remember, Schneizel funded the operation and manipulated her to make the weapons. Again, if we're going to talk about responsibility, we should share it out with different people. It wasn't just one person. And of course, they used, for once, the image they actually picked here is pretty accurate. The rest of these are just kind of like over the place. Like, he should have been his Emperor outfit here. This should have been in the, what was it, the subway or the train station. I guess that kind of works, except that it was Zero who escaped. This is the scene when she opens her eyes for the first time. Not relevant at all. This is before Zero kills Lelouch. This isn't even like... Jesus, I didn't realize these photos are awful. This one should have shown Euphemia being under control of Geass. This is from Akito the Exiled. So he didn't even use Geass and Akito the Exiled. So really bad stuff here. This one I guess is fine. Although I would have had him in the what is that nightmare? The Siegfried. And this is the cover of the show. It should have been C2 giving him the Geass like in the first episode. I know that's low-hanging fruit, but my god, you know, like I tried in my articles to at least put an image that is somewhat relevant. Alright. More thoughts about this, and I don't even want to entertain this anymore because this is just ridiculous to me. Again, failure does not equal dumb. And yes, maybe her motivations to use the bomb were of selfish reasons. But to suggest that she regretted it and didn't achieve anything. Well, it didn't achieve anything because Zero didn't die. If Zero had died, it would have achieved the goal. And yes, she regretted it. But again, this is not about, as I said like 3 times already, this is not about the moral implications of these actions. It is just about if they were dumb or smart. There is no judgment here. It doesn't say the smartest, morally ethical thing or least ethical. It just says that the top 5 smartest and dumbest. Okay? If you want to put judgment in there, that's fine. It's not relevant. Okay? I mean, this is an awful thing I'm about to say, but like if a dictator killed hundreds of people protesting him, it was a good strategy because it worked. Was it ethical? No. But I'm not arguing about the ethics. I'm just saying it worked. You need to clarify that. And if you look at the first paragraph of this article, it says nothing about ethics here. It just says he pulled us in hard bill to do. Some things don't go right either because of his own mistakes or because of people he controlled, or because other people can't be controlled as easily as he thinks, even with the use of his Geass. Which, when does that happen? But anyhow, because people can't resist the Geass. So that's, I didn't even realize that's actually inaccurate. And I can't think of one time where a character, I guess the only time they happened in the show was when like Cornelia and Clovis couldn't answer his questions, but they still tried really hard to obey his orders. So, but the point I'm trying to make here is that there's nothing here about ethics. So if you're going to talk about ethics, bring it up in the paragraph. Let's say like we're going to look at, like if I was doing this, I would say we're going to look at everything that happens in Code Geass in terms of the strategy between the dumb and the smart. I will go over the ethics behind them, why I think it was dumb, why I didn't accomplish the goal. I mean, if you're going to be like strategic about this, state what the plan was, state if it succeeded, and state why you think it's dumb. Like 3 paragraphs. What it was, did it succeed, why you think it's dumb. What do you get? You get 2 paragraphs that state absolutely nothing helpful, useful. All right, let's read some comments and we'll talk about actually for your comments. How much time we got here? We're good. We're totally good. We'll talk about some actual bad and smart strategies in Code Geass that are more specific than this garbage. Okay. Let's see. Them being owned by the same people makes so much sense. I think I read that one already. Charles needed more fleshed out. I read that one too. I read that one as well. It's like they knew we would rage just look at these pictures. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how like, I mean, I'm sure you guys probably figured it out already, but most basic video playing softwares give you the option to do a screenshot. So if you just own the Code Geass DVDs, or if you were to go on, say, Netflix or Hulu, I believe, or Funimation, and you watch the show, you can take a screenshot and use the image. Because these people don't even take the effort to watch the episode they're referencing, you can tell they don't actually give a crap. I don't know what is so difficult about just going to the episode itself and grabbing the image, or look for the image online. Maybe Wikipedia has it. I mean, the Code Geass Wikia has a, I can show you real quick. Let's see. If you go to characters, like if I click on Lelouch, right? You go to the very bottom. I'm pretty sure it has a photo gallery. Hold on. I should just on Control End. Oh, that's actually worse. Okay. If you go to the very bottom, well, not the very bottom, but like close. Come on. Come on. Okay, almost there. We are almost there. Where is it? Okay, maybe this is it. I thought there was I thought there was a photo gallery. Oh, okay, this is it. Right. Yeah, so you see, like, you can go through the photos and you can find something. See, look, how long did it take me to find an image of Lelouch in his Emperor outfit? 20 seconds? And I wasn't even like, I didn't know what I was doing. I just randomly glanced at Wikipedia. Like, does it really take this long to find an image? I'm sure they don't care about copyright problems. This is all you have to do to find the images. It's utter laziness to me. I know it's low-hanging fruit, but details are important, and it just, oh, here it is. It's right here. I was like, I thought they've yeah, look at this. Childhood, first season, second season, I would have said R1, R2, Zero, the Resurrection, other stuff. This isn't that complicated. I know I'm ranting, but like, oh my goodness. All right, so having a weapon that could destroy an entire empire is a bad strategy. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, is that what they're arguing here? I don't know. I think, again, what they're saying here is that because she doesn't succeed in her plan and regrets it, therefore it wasn't a good plan. It was dumb. That doesn't mean anything. You know what they had to do here? They have to define what dumb means, And that's something else, too, I should mention as a side note. When I'm working on I'm working on currently the Lelouch versus Light, who's more intelligent, who's smarter, whatever. I'm working very hard to clarify what dumb and smart means. You know, how do you define intelligence? Because when you're making statements about a character being dumb or an idea being dumb, whatever the case may be, you have to define what you mean by that, because otherwise you're probably like you have no basis to back that claim. Like if they had said, here's what we consider to be a dumb strategy. Here are some examples. Then they go through the article. See what we mentioned earlier? Here's an example of that. This is called thoughts. These are called arguments. This is how you articulate a point. What you have here is an example of terrible journalism, if you want to call it that. Yeah, splash my say. I splashed my face there. Like an idiot here. Okay. All right, let's talk about some actual smart strategies instead of the ones they listed here. Okay, I said before Naruto. That's one of I was trying to like debate between what's like Lelouch's greatest feats or plans. Naruto was pretty good because he was going to use the Gurren to create a rock slide that was going to take out Cornelia's troops, and then he was going to take advantage of that to capture her, use the Geass on her, and learn about who killed his mother. And he also knew where she was going to retreat to based on how he interpreted her positioning of her troops. He said, like, you know, good placement of troops, Cornelia, but unfortunately, very easy to read. So that was a good, brilliant strategy because he figured out how to counteract their layout of the troops. He used the new technology that the enemy didn't know about, which is always a good plan. And he had a plan to get her when she was running away. He thought all the variables there. And he also used really good communication and verbal intelligence to like motivate the Black Knights to even want to do this. He was saying like, look, you're with me, we'll live, or you run away, we'll die. I'm going to perform a miracle. And I was like, yeah, Zero's going to perform a miracle. And it was motivated. You know, he motivated people to actually want to do this. It was one of his best smart strategies. And then we have, what about poor Yokozuga? As Detard said, it was a brilliant trap because he blew up the JLF so he could get into Cornelia, and he almost, if Suzaku wasn't there, man, he almost had her. And I know people argue, by the way, if Suzaku, oh, 1 second. Oh, cool, yeah. Make sure you watch it later if you want to. Oh, and like it please too when you do watch it. Yeah. People were saying like if Suzaku, if Lelouch knew Suzaku, why do you have strategies ready for him? Well, just so you know, this stuff takes time, and by stage 17, when Suzaku was getting in their way, they actually did have a strategy in place to stop him. They learned about Lelouch had a detailed understanding of his movements in the computer simulations, and he was able to predict his movements, and they counteracted and defeated him as a result, or they would have, except Suzaku had like a secret, you know, 4 Harken booster, I believe, / Harken booster. But in the next episode, they trapped him with the Gefion Disturber. So they were trying to stop Suzaku, but just keep in mind, like, it takes time to come up with a adequate strategy, and Lelouch was relying on Colin to try to be like the counter to Suzaku, which was working. So it wasn't like they didn't have a plan for Suzaku. It's just that it was a slow moving process. I know there's like complaints about that, but the point is though, the Poor Yokozuga was still a great strategy because again he used the JLF to go and take advantage of Cornelia and surprise them too. I know some people say, why did he work with the JLF? Well, if you weren't aware, Lelouch didn't want to work with any of the old way of thinking. He told Kirihara, like, this is the old way of thinking. He told that to also, oh, I don't know his name. That guy who did the hotel jacking. I forgot his name. That's how memorable he was. But anyways, when he used, when he was talking to him, he was saying, oh, stale. These ideas are terrible. It wasn't about working with the JLF. It was about just getting rid of it, paving a new way. He was saying how, like, when I make Japan as its own independent nation, it'll be different than what it was before. Lelouch wanted to destroy through creation, right? They're two sides of the same coin, as Armstrong loved to say. He was like, you know, creation and destruction are two sides of the same coin. So Lelouch is like, yeah, we're going to destroy the JLF to build my own, you know, the Black Knights can't have any other rebellions going on. We are the only force. which worked out well. But still, that was a good strategy. I like the let's see, what was also a good one too that I enjoyed. Oh, how he defeated Mao. That was a good one too because he was able to Geass himself to forget his plan. So when he went in the chess game against Mao, he couldn't read his mind, and ultimately Suzaku surprised him. Plus, if Mao focused on one person, he can't read other people's minds. So Lelouch took advantage of that and defeated him. That was a really good strategy. Or the fact that he was able to stall him with the video, which, by the way, he wasn't. I might cover this in a separate topic for another time, but like he wasn't like predicting his thoughts. He was just distracting him. If you notice, he never said anything that was substantial. He just said like Mao was like ranting, and it was like, C2 is mine. I have access to all her things, and Mao's like not even, he's saying stuff, and Lucius' video is not responding to him. The point was to keep him distracted so he could come in there with the police and take back C2. That was good because he understood the range of Mao's Geass, so he avoided it, and two, he distracted him so he wouldn't see the other people coming. It was a good strategy. In R2, there's a bunch of other ones too, but in R2, the whole plan to make Guilford, just in case Suzaku betrayed him, that was a good strategy too. He thought about the possibility that Suzaku maybe he would betray him, or some other instance would happen where he would get captured. There's also goes to talk about and then you could talk about the whole $1,000,000 strategy, or the fact he tried launching an air assault a ground assault from the air, which was kind of cool. I know it didn't work, right? From CBR's point of view, that was dumb because it failed, even though that was pretty smart and they never saw it coming. There's so much more, but I just wanted to pick like the basic ones, or the ones that stand the most. Then when it comes to dumb strategies, I guess like actually dumb. One I would say is keeping Shirley separated from him, because he saw that, and this is obviously a very subjective opinion, but when he left her alone, Mao got involved, and that's why he had to erase her memory. So by keeping a distance from her, that's what killed her at the end. So I think that was dumb to isolate himself from her. If anything, he should have been as close to her as he was to Natalie. He should have his focus should have been to keep both of them safe, and he didn't do that. And that's why she died. So that was really dumb. Number two, not being open to, this is not a relationship thing, but he wasn't open to C2, Colin, or Shirley how he felt, which led them all kind of in emotional problems there. I would have just been honest and said, look, I like you or I don't like you. I know the show is not a romance, but it was a pivotal point at some part, so I would have been more honest about that. Hiding his feelings only caused more problems. It didn't help out in the grand scheme. It just caused conflicts. Let's see. Oh, here's one that's very controversial. This is why I piss off everyone watching this, but he should have told everyone about his Geass powers. And that way, when Nogi, like, there wouldn't have been a betrayal. He should just told everybody he had Geass powers. He never used it on them. We're on the same side, or some nature. He should have, or at least discuss he was a Britannian prince. He should have mentioned something of that nature. The fact that he didn't say anything made everyone not trust him to begin with. And then once the Schneider revealed information, that was somewhat questionable. But again, because Lelouch already had distrust in his own group, they essentially went with it and betrayed him. He would have had a better chance keeping going if he maybe was more honest. I know it's kind of weird. How would you tell a group, hey guys, I have a supernatural ability where I can control people against their will? Their first thoughts would be, so have you used it on us? No, I haven't. And they're probably thinking, well, how would I know? And they say, well, I mean, you're serving me willingly, but what if you told me to serve you willingly? I didn't use that on you, okay? You have to trust me. So I can understand why, if it's not handled correctly, it could have failed. But at the same time, it was that distrust that made them rebel against him so easily. So the way I see it is, he should have been more honest about it. On some level. That would have been better. Other dumb strategies, like actually dumb things that could have been better. Oh, he wasn't like, I think his I think he could have hit like the black when that cat took the helmet, that was kind of funny. I'm not sure if that was dumb of him not to be more careful where he was putting his Zero suit. I know in the films he had like a special um, storage area for Zero's helmet, but I think maybe he should have kept that a little more hidden. If the cat got in there, I mean, you know, Saul's could have got it as well. That wasn't the best. That wasn't too bright. Letting your helmet get caught by a cat, that was pretty dumb. Hmm. What else? What else is dumb? Actual dumb strategies. Hmm. I didn't really think much about this because I didn't think we get that far, or we would talk about that. But for the other dumb thing they did, oh, he left Nully alone at Ashford during the Black Rebellion. Was that dumb? I mean, that was right. Did he say she'd be protected there? I guess that's fine. Yeah, that wasn't too dumb. I mean, she got captured, but let's be honest, even if he was there, she'd still been captured, right? Because V2 kind of like V2 can teleport, so either way, he probably would have been screwed. Apparently that's stuff that's flat out dumb, not just like contrivance. I'm like actual dumb. Like there was, oh, here's one. Here's one. This was actually a good one. Okay, why did he um take the Chinese Empress hostage? Why not just work with Ling Shinkei to begin with? What was the point of like going against him to then go back to him? That made no sense to me. It was like he took the longest route to reach the same destination. I would have just worked with Shinkei against the High Eunuchs, which was the plan to begin with. The only thought I had about that, though, to counteract that, was that he was trying to make the High Eunuchs look bad so the people would rebel. So I guess the thought was, if I record them saying awful things about the people, that would work in my favor, and then I can get Shinkei to join me, because I protected the Empress. But that could have been better. Um, yeah, those are just some thoughts I have about like the dumb versus smart strategies. But I will say that like in this article, half of these I wouldn't say are dumb, and the smart ones are they are smart, but they're also more like no duh smart as opposed to like actual smart strategies. Okay, let's see. I love the top vice victories and defeats of Lelouch, not by CBR, of course. Yeah, that'd be a good one. And that's what makes Lelouch a great character because he actually has defeats and losses throughout this show, and he grows. And part of intelligence is a process. Like I'm reading this book about intelligences by Howard Gardner, and he was saying that one of the criteria for intelligence is if you can follow the process of becoming like you can document like where you started from where you're at. That's the one way of intelligence. Like you grew throughout. But anyways, we're gonna do a little experiment now and see how this goes. I'm not sure how you guys respond to this. We're gonna find out. I wanted to do this article from Death Note. I'm not sure if you guys have read Death Note, but I mentioned before in my post that we might do other articles in the future. I'm gonna see how this plays out because unfortunately, when it comes to Code Geass, and I can show you really quickly. Hopefully we won't get like surprised again. There is like no specific Code Geass articles left to go over that I can think of. There's a bunch of like they'll have them listed as one of the options or list items. But in terms of like actual Code Geass articles, I think we've gone through like everything. Except this one. But like let's be honest, or this one. These are both like yeah, they don't do many Code Geass articles, which by the way, I'm thankful because I don't wanna read this crap. So I think we're gonna do a Death Note article. I know that's not what people necessarily want, but the only other option I can think of besides this is we'd have to like do a video, and I'm thinking of I'm sorry, we are doing a video response, and I'm thinking that maybe down the road we'll start looking at certain Code Geass related videos. Here's some examples I was thinking about: Giga's review of Code Geass R2, Glass Reflection review on Code Geass, Watch Mojo's Code Geass versus Death Note. We might do some of those, but most of the articles about Code Geass we've already like gone through, and some are just like flat out. They're not even like opinionated. They're just more of like, let's just list a bunch of stuff we read from Wikipedia. Somehow you'll think it's interesting. Hmm. You know what? Hold on. Scratch that. Let's do. Ooh, should I do this one now or save it? I'm gonna save this one. We'll do this next week. That's actually interesting. What else we got here? Yeah, see. Oh, and there's this one too. Yeah, this one's like it's not too objective, so I mean it is objective because they just say, hey, this is never explained, therefore we'll put it there. Anyhow, we're gonna go to the article. We'll see how this goes. I know some people don't like Death Note. I know Koga's and Death Note. It's like yeah, people hate that crap. All right, Death Note. Main characters ranked from worst to best character arcs. Death Note is one of the most great is one of the greatest anime ever made. But how do the characters compare in terms of the story quality? This came out, by the way, like the start of this month. Okay, it goes without saying that Death Note is widely considered one of the most popular anime series of all time. Madhouse has consistently been at the forefront of bringing true life to the anime medium with their larger-than-life animation. God, the words. It's like it's so hard to. It's not hard to read, but it's like it's too much word, guys. Always managed to even the most mundane things look all the more amazing due to the sheer amount of detail put into art. Just say the animation's good. When you throw a lot of what's it called? Up, obje- descriptory words, adjectives, you're not making it any better. Of course, it's hard to add that one of the biggest draws of Death Note is its cast of well realized characters, all of whom add their own flavor to the mix to make some truly engrossing viewing indeed. Okay. These characters play a huge role in development over the course of the series, and although they are admittedly some arcs are better than others. The original manga appeared in 2003, and almost 2 decades later, there's a whole Death Note franchise that fans can enjoy. The anime series from 2006 gets the most attention, and the main character lies often the face of Death Note. Well, it's him or L, right? He always on every list that features the most compelling and evil characters in anime history. The Death Note characters and the arcs are what make the show fun to watch, both first-time and watchable value. Now, before we go through this list real quick, let's just define a quick term because they don't do it here, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page. What is a character arc? Just so we're clear on this. Hopefully I won't get something weird. It's the essential aspect of every story they tell, whether directly or indirectly, the change from beginning to end. Okay, so what changed from beginning to end? That's what I thought. They tell us, but though these arcs tell us what changed, they don't necessarily tell us what changed the character. Okay, so it's a story itself of what they changed, or what changed to begin the end. Not necessarily the character itself, but how the story was. Okay, I got it. Yeah, see, some characters are flat. They stay the same despite changing the circumstances around them. Okay, got it. All right. And here it is. The character arc is measured by how is a measure of how a character changes over time. These arcs are linear, so as to say they're always has a beginning and an end. They don't have to coincide with the story arcs. For example, story arc may start at a linear end, but that doesn't mean the character arc begins at its end too. Okay. Man, a lot of burping here. Types of character arcs: moral ascent, moral descent, and flat. Wow, this is actually a pretty good article. I'll get this down. Wow, there's a lot going on here. Okay, anyways, we'll refer to this later if necessary. All right, with that in mind, here we go. Number 12, Mello. While the first half of Death Note is a brilliant watch, the same can be said for the second half, which has a noticeable dip in the quality. Yeah, I can't deny that, and that's because the manga was rushed. I said before that I have like the manga here, and it was rushed. That's why the anime is terrible. If you actually read the manga, it's much better. It's still, debatable in terms of quality, but the show definitely screwed it up. The leading reason is the main characters of Death Note aren't interesting in the latter half. See, that's not true. I don't think they're not interesting. In fact, I'm going to say something very controversial right now. I like Nier more than L. If you guys don't like Death Note, you probably don't care either way, but I liked Nier more than L as a character. That's not a topic for this video, but just so you guys know, I liked Nier more. I didn't like L that much. When he died, I was like, oh, should I have said that? Oh well. I'm sure you guys know that by now. If you're sticking with the video, you know how Death Note goes. If not, well, I apologize. Anyways, the two characters who end up replacing L after his unfortunate demise. Hey, look, they did it too! Yay! They don't even say spoiler alert. God. I have a story about spoilers that maybe I'll tell you guys another time. That really pissed me off. But anyways, after his unfortunate demise, great example of this. With Mello being an absolute lowlight of the series, the fact that he ends up succumbing to his demons and goes down a criminal path in order to hunt down and arrest Kira is painful to watch and makes an extremely boring character arc. Okay. hunt down and arrest Kira is painful to watch, and it makes it extreme. You know what makes Mello interesting is that he's an anti-hero, because he was going to use criminal means to go after Kira. And the reason why that's actually interesting is because L did some stuff that was questionable, right? Like he was going to make that one guy, he hit someone on death row, was it Linda Taylor, and Light wrote his name down to kill him. That's how he knew where Light was the whole time. That was questionable. Before he actually died, he was going to make a criminal writing name to test the 13-day theory, who was going to be executed anyways, which is still questionable. And he put Light and Misa in isolation for like way, what, like 50 plus days or something, some crazy number. But all Mello simply did was he took a more aggressive means to capture Kira. I don't. You have to say, why was it painful to watch and extremely boring? I didn't think it was boring. He was definitely chaos incarnate. I mean, he captured what, the director, and he captured Sayu, which those were good strategies. It's funny, these two kind of relate. Did I delete the article? All right, not delete. Did I delete? I wish I could have. I mean, did I? I did close it out. But the strategies of like to do that was actually pretty smart. I thought it was interesting because until that point, the police force wasn't doing anything really criminal to capture a criminal. But Mello's like, look, we'd have to do this a different way. And one thing I think it is true in this series, this could just be, you know, headcanon, but I always saw it like this, where Nier and Mello both shared aspects of L. It's almost like L divided up into two different characters, Mello and Nier, because Mello has the anti-hero aspects of L, the more criminal dark side to him, where Nier has more of the analytical brilliance, deductive reasoning of L. So you put them together, you get L. That's why they had to work together to defeat Light Yagami. That was kind of that was the point of that. I'm not saying it was handled the best, but that's what they were trying to do in the anime. Now, was it a low light? No, there's low lights in this series. Okay, this is not one of them. The plan to stop Mello, that was something else. But no, again, as we said here before, a character arcs, right? How they change. Well, here's a thought about Mello, right? He started the series, or second half, saying, I'm not going to work with Nier, I'm going to do it on my own. How does he end the series? By acknowledging he has to work with Nier, and he gives up his life to capture Light. How do you say with an honest face that's not a strong character arc? That's pretty good to me. He changed, and he helped on the story. I don't know. What they're really saying here is they thought he was boring. Well, that's not relevant. We're talking about a character arc, not 10 characters you hated. Oh, man. I don't know why I keep bothering with this crap. Okay, number 11, Nier. While Nier might also be rather uninspired, Death Note character, uninspired. I thought he was interesting. He kept playing with toys, but he's 18 years old. I don't know. He had a quirk. Personality being ripped off of his predecessor. There's no denying the fact that he's still leagues ahead of Mello. But then why'd you put him 11? If he was leagues ahead of Mello, wouldn't it be like a more obvious difference? You know, like let's say it was number 10 is Mello, number 11 is like number 5 would be Nier. How's that leagues ahead? I don't think you know what these words mean. But anyways, there's some place where the audience sees a positive element, as subtle as it is. A positive. What the fudge? The fact that Nier has absolutely nothing unique associated with his persona certainly takes the quality of his character down a notch. And exaggerated quirks he has, twirling of his hair and peering especially at everything, is just annoying. Okay, again, is this a list of characters you hate or bad arcs? Those are not the same. What is a evaluation on the character as a whole? The other one is saying, was their journey in the story interesting? And by the way, we just read the definition of character arc. It says here that some characters can be flat, mean they don't change at all, and it could still be a good character arc. So just because they don't change or they're uninspired, how was he uninspired? Nier had a lot of his own like weirdness he added. As I said before, the two characters combined would form L. That was kind of the purpose. They wanted a character who was more analytical than L, and a character who was more diabolical in terms of like doing anti-hero stuff. So if you're going to tell me and say like he was uninspired, then you missed the point. Literally missed the point. He's throwing darts. If CBR was throwing a dart, it wouldn't even go to the board. It would fly like in the air and somehow land on Mars. Like you guys were just completely out. Wow. This article. Number 10, Naomi Misora. What? Okay. It's a testament to the brilliance behind the show that a character who only appeared for one episode ended up being one of the best and most interesting characters in the series. This statement is not relevant to this topic. After the death of her husband, Naomi Misora tried to harass the contact the head of Kira investigation team, only to encounter the killer himself in the form of Light Yagami. The ensuing game of cat and mouse is easily one of the highest of the series, and goes to show how interesting Death Note can really be. And most of it's made possible due to the quick thinking of Naomi right up to the very end when she slips out and reveals her name as Kira. How does it have anything to do with anything? This isn't an arc. Do you not know what an arc is? Do I have to go back to this? Okay. Protagonist wants some goal. He can't get the goal. He has to do something to attain it, and then he attains it or something. An arc is like either you change as the story goes, or you change the story. She didn't really do either. She was kind of like a stepping stone for Light. She was a nuisance. Is she a good character? Sure. Was her death, her whole situation with Light, one of the best parts of the show? Agreed. Does that mean that she had a good arc? No. And are you really going to say a character that appeared for like 2 episodes had a better arc than 2 characters that appeared through an entire second half? When this Light died? 27, 29? I don't know which episode it is, but that's still, these characters were at least on for what, 8, 9 episodes? They had less of an arc than someone who was on for 2 episodes? Just on the definition of an arc alone, that makes no sense. Ugh. Man. Again, this is a list of characters they like or hate. Just be honest, you know, I don't even care, you know, just this is what I mean by clickbait. I go in the article, I don't get what I expected. Did anyone comment on this, by the way? I'm disappointed. But you know what? I'm not. Why would it? Doesn't deserve the comments. It's just crap. Kiyomi Takada. Takada's a character that appears early in the series, but is deliberately kept in the background to hide her nature from everyone, even the viewer. She was involved with Light during the university years and later on as a TV news anchor, openly supporting Kira, and was one of the few other people that also knew his real identity. She was deliberately created to play well against Light and had a similar character arc to Light. But hers was cut short as Kira's plans started to unravel. I mean, no, because she died, what, right before the situation in the warehouse? How is that cut short? That's like the same length, as almost the same length as Light. Cut short would be like halfway through. When Takada appears more often in later episodes of the series, there's a lot of flashback and memories that suggests she was working in the background for decades to help Kira. No, she wasn't. That's what? Is that headcanon? I've never heard anyone say that before. It's a unique Death Note character arc because fans don't understand the scope of it until the very end. It's a unique Death Note. The top 10 the main characters ranked from worst to best by character arc. Wait a minute, main characters? She's not a main character, but it's worst to best. I don't care if it's unique. Why is it better than others? I'm like Yoda, going like, this is so stupid. Like, what? First of all, I don't think it's even true. But more importantly, her arc, it was good because she helped out Kira kill people and make it seem like it was actually Mikami doing it. That's what you talk about in terms of arc. See, an arc is about how you impact the story. How did she impact the story? She helped Light kill people without them knowing that it was her and it was actually Mikami the whole time. And she was used also to be the spokesperson of Kira. They don't mention either of those here. Wow. That was her role in the story, if we're going to talk about roles. There's like 3 different topics at once. It's like a hodgepodge of like different ideas. It's complete crap, and this is what you should expect at this point. Is her character arc better than like Nier and Mello's? No. Favoritism should not be relevant when discussing a character's role. I mean, isn't Nier the one who like forced Light into the situation to begin with? Same with Mello. Like they worked together to stop Light. All Taka did was help him nearly defeat them. But you could argue that if these two didn't get in Light's way, Taka wouldn't even be relevant. But hey, whatever. What hell I know. I think there should be a apostrophe S there. Let's go through one more here. Teru Mikami. The idea of having another Kira something that was executed with definiteness in Death Note. Teru Mikami is a great example to illustrate the benefit of this particular angle in the story. Okay, at least they're giving an argument here. There you go. He wasn't really like Kira. He was more of a more black and white version, a less analytical and more just kind of like direct. Like he understood what Kira wanted to do, but he wasn't as tactful about it. That's why when he killed Taka, they were all screwed. So, but I would say like, yeah, that's fine. That's actually a fair argument for once. He may not be one of the best Death Note characters, but he's definitely the most interesting. Again, not relevant. The warped sense of justice that Mikami had developed as a result of a traumatic childhood made him a perfect candidate to be another Kira, which his iconic repetition of the word delete became one of the most memorable aspect of his character that the fans still look back to fondly on this day. This is actually the only argument they've made that's actually somewhat valid. I think they could go more into it, but at least they actually tried here. But is he like above Mello and Nier? I'd say probably on par. This one I'm not too upset about. Soichiro Yagami. It's funny that the lead investigator of Kira investigative team didn't even realize his own that the perpetrator he was looking for was none other than his son. Well, it wasn't he didn't realize, he was trying his best not to see it that way. And okay, this is really stupid because every part in the story they made it clear, or Light was able to manipulate the variables so that that his father wouldn't suspect him, because he kept like when he was in isolation for what 50 days or something, and no one was dying. So he convinced the police force that yeah, he's not Kira. Or how about when he was able to manipulate his father as Kira to go and bring him out, right? During that part, when he looked at the Light, because he had the eyes, because Light didn't have ownership of the Death Note at the time, he could see his lifespan. Of course, would that make him laugh or happy? That made me sad, knowing when my child's gonna die. But hold on our topic. The point is, in every case he could have found out, it was proven that Light wasn't Kira. So the realization is a bit insulting to Yagami, who was okay with the idea that now, okay, if it was the case that his son was Kira, he would obviously investigate it and go for it. But every time they could have figured it out, Light was able to evade it. The cameras, I said isolation, and of course that part with Mello. So I wouldn't insult him like that, because it wasn't like he was an idiot, okay? He was manipulated. And again, with a father, this is more of an emotional thing, but he tries his best not to see Light as Kira. And it was a long rant, but I'm like, I don't like the way they worded it. It kind of destroys everything that the show was trying to accomplish. It was Soichiro's own optimism that would betray him, which makes him his tragic arc as one of the best among the Death Note main characters. I can't even disagree with that. That's true. It was his optimism, and also, of course, his actual death was trying to take on Mello. Regardless of what most people feel about this course of events, there is no denying the fact that Soichiro was still a bright and intelligent man whose death was certainly quite hard-hitting. The fact that he died believing his son wasn't Kira was the only respite he had. Yeah. This was I agree. I think you can put him higher in the list, honestly. He had a really good arc. So with these two, these are actually pretty good arguments. The past ones were crap, but these were actually pretty good. Number 6, Misa. Initially coming off as more than an obsessive fan of Kira, who absolutely no other motivation in life, Takara how Misa managed to break past this barrier and establish herself as a brilliant character in her own right. The relationship she shares with Rem and Light over the course of the series is one of the driving forces that defines her character, turning her into a compelling person whose scenes always feature a trademark strangeness that could have been achieved with her unique persona. Um, I'm going to disagree on this one. I don't think there was anything special about Misa. She was just an obsessive fan of Akira. She only did what he told her to do. Every time she was a model, true, but she was a model before Akira got involved in her life. I can't think of anything she accomplished in her arc besides get in Light's way or help out Light. Yes, she had a relationship with Rem, which was important, but was this arc, if you want to call it that, the same as, say, his, hers, or these two? Misa's kind of like, this is actually a Code Geass thing. Misa's kind of the Shirley of Code Geass because they keep freaking messing with her mind, right? Because she's like, I'm Kira, I got the eyes. Okay, great. But her lifespan was expanded, right? Because of jealous. And then I will say Lelouch, that's stupid. Light makes her give up or Rem makes her give up the Geass, Jesus Christ, the Death Note, and she loses her memories. Then when she gets her memories back, she gives them up again when Mikami gets it. So basically, she's just like a tool to Light, where he just uses her and disposes of her anytime he gets the opportunity. That's why I don't see her as like a great character arc. She was just there as a tool for Light to use. Her only real reason to be with him was because he killed the killer of her parents, which is, it's fine. She had motivation, but when we're talking about a great arc, it's like, did she really? It seemed at certain points in the story she just wasn't relevant at all. She was either under police protection, or she was under police protection, or she was killing people with Kira. But I don't know. I didn't like the character because she just seemed like a typical obsessive fan. I mean, think about the last part of the show, right? She was arguing with Taka about who should be with Light. That's what I think about when I think about her. The Rem thing, I agree with. There are certain elements they're saying here, but these trademark strangeness, that existed before she was with Light, and that doesn't mean she had a good character arc. Just because a character has quirkiness doesn't mean that it's a good arc. Again, we're talking about arcs, not the character themselves, like their traits. Like, it's like saying because L sits in a weird, funny way, therefore he had a great arc. I mean, sure, whatever. I don't agree, and she's way too high on this list. She should be number 12 or 11. And I know maybe that's not nice to the Misa fans, but like, that's way too high. I'll say that much. Ryuk. Of course, it'd be impossible to talk about the best characters in Death Note without mentioning the brilliance of Ryuk. A Shinigami ended up being the most compelling character, won the most. Sure. While his whole trademark of finding humans intriguing stays stagnant throughout the series, it's still interesting to make him one of the best characters, even though his arc might not have been all that significant. Okay, this statement here is so telling. It's still interesting enough to make him one of the best characters in Death Note, even though his arc might not be all that significant. I'm going to say this again for like the billionth time. Is this an article about the best characters in Death Note, or is this about the arcs? If you are going to say that Ryuk's arc was insignificant, which I'm not even suggesting is true or false, if you are going to say his arc is not significant, why is he so high on the list? Why is he ahead of people who actually had arcs in the series that were significant? If your barometer is if the arc was significant, how is Nier and Mello not on the list? I'm literally like, what the fudge? This is so ridiculous. What? Ryuk is way too darn high on this list. If you're arguing his arc wasn't as significant, I can kind of see that because he doesn't do a whole lot. But I kind of see Ryuk and Misa almost in the same light. Light. I kind of see that it's the same light. You know what I did there? I'll end the stream now. But if you're gonna say Ryuk wasn't significant, you could argue same with Misa, because even though Ryuk didn't kill people with the Death Note for Light, he tried to give him certain advice about how to do stuff, like the eyes, or the part where he held down Sidok, the deaf god. He prevented him from talking, so Light could go in there, not Light, but like the police could go in there and kill Mello. Um, and he got the cameras. Basically, if it was convenient, Ryuk would help out Light Yagami. But to say like, if this has no significance, I don't think she did either. They were both equal in my opinion. But why is he so high? If like, oh, all right. I gotta take a break for this. Let's see what any comments on this. I know you guys don't like Death Note, or you're not here for Death Note. But if you are here watching with me, I appreciate it. As I said before, we're out of Geass articles, so we're not out. There's 2 left, but I'm gonna save it for another video. Okay, let's take a look here. You could rank the Geass characters in a tier ranking. Yep, I'll do it at some point. Yeah, I should definitely do that. I have like, again, lists made out. I have to put them into article form and then video form. I like L, but I didn't get why he was so universally beloved. I always thought Light was the more interesting character. I think they were both interesting if you liked either one. I personally had, well, I had some issues with both characters. The reason why people like L is because he's just so strange. I mean, Light is so vanilla in his design. Like, there's a part in Death Note where they're about to start school, and Light reads his thing he wrote, and so does like L. L is just so strange. That's why people like him. He's such a bizarre character. He's got interesting quirks. That's probably why. Where Light was more of this I don't say spoiled, but this prodigy who was like, who cares about. I can see why. I personally found both characters to be interesting, but I liked L more than Light. But I didn't like L, so I didn't like Light. So I have like a personal bias against both. I like Nier the most. But anyways, yeah, that's why I think. It could be a fetish thing too. I don't know. I don't want to get into weird stuff, but Nier is underappreciated. Yeah, he is. I agree. Did Naomi have an arc? She was a pretty minor character. Yeah, she was. And it's funny, the article said it said main characters. And as far as I know, Naomi is not a main character. So did you not like watch the show, or do you not care? Or you just whatever. Misa was a Harley Quinn. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, she took abuse from Light, and she'd work with him no matter what. You know what? That's a pretty good. I like that. She was like Harley Quinn. Yep, well said. Yeah, the relationship between Misa and Light was like Harley and Joker. Pretty much. Ryu's one of the most entertaining characters, but in terms of his arc, he was a bit lacking in my opinion. Right. So why would he be listed so high on the list? That's what I'm so confused about. If you are saying he's not a significant arc, then don't put him so high. This is a top arc, not favorite characters. Wait, there was a Ryuk arc? Yeah, exactly. There wasn't. L's brother was pretty much a ripoff of Alpha from Batman. Yeah, that's right. Naomi's husband, who had a bigger role arc than her, isn't even on the list. There's a guy who's not on this list who shocked me. I briefly went through this before the stream today, and I couldn't believe they didn't include him on the list. I mean, how? Unbelievable. But you'll see later. Okay, let's continue. Rem. The idea of a god of death developing feelings for a human to the point where they could be manipulated to doing their bidding is a testament to just how amazing Rem is as a Death Note character. Anything she says is short, honest, and often sharp to the point, and is she coming off as nothing more than another stoic Shinigami with a personality that clashed with Ryuk? Rem's feelings for Misa ended up being the catalyst for her own demise. She ends up sacrificing her own life to kill L and save Misa. I will not argue that Rem did not have a good character arc, because she did. But number 4... No. I don't know. No, I like I said, this is actually a good point. She actually had a good arc. I just don't know if it's number 4 on a list. Again, think about characters that we are not including. Yagami, Mikami, and of course Mello and Nier. So no, she should be on. I agree. She should be on the list. She actually had a very important role, and she grew as a character. Because again, Shinigami don't develop relationship or feelings for humans. So no, I agree. This is a good one. The placing though is telling, but that's fine. Okay. Next, Matsuda. And then I gotta change my camera, my batteries after this. But Totsa Matsuda, a member of the Cure investigation team, Matsuda starts out a little more than a comic relief as the main Death Note character. He is depicted as a clumsy, inept one of the group. Oh, the inept one of the group, but he's actually a decent shot and has talent for undercover work. At one point, he actually expresses some sympathy for Kira, only to be severely reprimanded by his mentor, Shoichiro. For the most part, he's cheerful and is self-confessed weakling. Pull all this together, and Kira doesn't take him seriously enough to end his life. It's also possible Light spared Matsuda on the behalf of his father. Shoichiro said Matsuda was always close to him. Um, Light didn't spare him at all. He was going to kill him at the end of the show, so that's not accurate. Just again, nitpicky, but like let's stick to the facts here. Okay. Let's see. So as a member of Matsu's, it was interesting because Matsu he was comic relief, right? He he evolved at a point where he actually to kill Light, which was a very strong moment for him. They don't mention, however, that he like nearly committed suicide to help them catch the police, the Yatsuba members, right? That was actually a pretty good arc to his character. But again, when you think of arcs, like how they change the story, how the character changed the story and how they changed themselves, is Matsuda really like number 3 on a list like that? I'm just trying to see I'm trying to think how his story or his arc was better than these two. That's what I'm struggling with this. Like I don't disagree Matsuda had a good arc. I'm just not sure if he was if it was that significant. Like he changed the story, I guess, by being there, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna think on this. I gotta change my battery real quick, so I'm gonna do that. Don't go anywhere, guys. I gotta change my battery. So shouldn't take too long. Give me a second here. Actually, let me mute this out. Okay, we should be back right now. Let's see, is my camera working? Okay, cool. All right, all thing good. By the way, side note, the transition thing I put up there, it actually it was spelled wrong. I spelled it WILL, and I've had this now for a couple streams, and no one noticed. Oh man, that was really stupid. But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand here. All right. Let's see. Matsuda was always there, but kind of wasn't there. I also remember him from the last episode. Yeah, that's because they even said it there too because he shot Light. That's what people know him for. He must die. He must die. Right? You know that insanity. Mikami should have been definitely much higher. Yeah, I agree because what made Mikami an interesting character is that we learned from him at a young age, like why he was killing people, why he had this whole sense of justice, why Kira meant something to him, and why him working for Kira was a big deal. So he had a way stronger, like you understood who he was as a person, and that's what made his role so much more significant in the story. Whereas Matsuda, it's like the only thing that changed about him as a character was that he got a lot better as a detective. He definitely took more risks, but he still was comic relief. And no, the last part of this, I said before, Light was never going to spare Matsuda. One of my complaints of Death Note is the fact that Light doesn't kill all the detectives as soon as he can, even after actually, just here. Even after what was I saying? Yeah, so even after his father died, he should have killed all the detectives. That's all I was saying, and he doesn't do that because of I don't know. I was kind of confused about that. That's like a whole nother side note. But yeah, Matsuda is definitely not the his arc was great, and he served the purpose of the story. 3 is way too high, okay? And again, I'm gonna ask you guys after this, which character is not on this list? Now, I'm not a rocket. You don't have to be a rocket science to know who the next 2 characters are going to be, right? I mean, you know who it is. The order is debatable, but the next characters, you know who it is. So there's one character on this list who's not here, and I'm very confused as to why that is. We'll get to that very shortly. Let's see. Matsuda kind of had an arc, but other than being a comedic relief, his scenes weren't very memorable or gripping. I agree, except for one point, which was when he nearly killed himself to capture the Yatsuba. That actually was pretty good. He pretended to be drunk, and he actually was brave enough to jump off the ledge. That was a good scene. I would say that much. Okay. Yeah. Namikawa. Namikawa? Was that his name? I thought it was ooh. Well, anyways. Number 2. Again. L. The world's greatest detective is one of the best characters in anime history, and one and the one need what? And one need only look at L's quirky mannerism and eccentric personality to understand why this is the case. His whole being, including his background as an orphan and his antisocial personality, is creating a foil to the handsome and popular Light. Yes, I'm glad you understand basic storytelling. However, L is more than just his analytic side, I should say. He ends up forming a genuine bond with Light, and even considers him to be a one true friend, which makes his final moments all more tragic. Yeah, L had a great character arc. He obviously he's the catalyst for a lot of events in the story. His ability to get close with Light. I'm always impressed how no matter what Light does to try to get him off his case, L doesn't buy any of it. I like at the very end he asks, well, end of his life, before he died, he asked Light, have you ever told the truth before? And I was like, whoa. And Light said, oh, we all lied. I'm like, oh, dude, you just ruined everything. So yeah, that was no, he definitely did. His end was kind of sad because when he died, like the last thing he sees, I'm just gonna show you a picture of it. I'm not sure if I can. Let's see. I have the manga right here. Give me a second. Yeah, it's this one here. The last thing that poor man sees, and hopefully you guys can see this. I'm gonna put it right by the manga's got a better image. This is all like spur of the moment, obviously. Let's see. Come on. Almost there. Come on. Come on. Here it is. See that? That is the last thing that L ever sees. Awful. Um, but yeah, no, I agree. L had a good arc. Yeah, number two is fine. You can put him in one too. I wouldn't be upset. All right, number one, Light Yagami. The protagonist of the series also ends up being the most compelling Death Note character by a mile, with the transformation of an honor student Light Yagami into a serial killer with a god complex, who goes by the moniker of Kira, being a highly interesting one indeed. However, it's the manner in which Light manipulates everyone and everything around him that makes him all the more interesting to watch. While his web of lies is ultimately unraveled by the end, the journey is still highly compelling in every sense of the word. Yeah. You can go back and forth with these. Light had a pretty interesting arc. He went from, as I said here, a student, he became a sociopath. He believed that to quench his boredom, he'd kill people. He fought against L. His main goals were, again, to be God, but also he's wanted to quench his boredom. That's why when L died, he was very disappointed. He was like, what's the point? You know, the competition was fun, but now he's gone. It's like, I don't care. I don't like. I'll say about Light's arc. This is a personal, obviously, take. It's not like this is objective or anything, but I don't like the fact they made him careless and arrogant at the end of the series. He was like, there were so many parts where Nier would get like information about him, and Light just like volunteered it away. It was really pathetic. Like he gave him so many openings. I don't think Nier was obviously very intelligent, but Light gave him too many freebies. I know that's the point. He was supposed to be a fall from grace because he was so high up there. He thought that no one could touch him, and then because high up for grace and no one could touch him, so he ignored Mello and Nier. But man, I don't know. That's always one of those things where I wasn't a big fan of. Now, and again, and just so you guys know, I said like several times, but like I didn't root for Light. I didn't want him to win. But if he's gonna lose, I want him to lose at his best, not at his worst. That's why I was so dissatisfied with the ending, because the Light that was defeated wasn't the Light we saw early on in the series. This was an arrogant, careless guy who he played himself. Now, to answer the question, who was the character that they didn't list? His name was, I think it's Aizawa. So I think you were right there. Not, I don't think it's Nami. Is it Namikawa? It's Aizawa, the guy with the afro. That's the guy who should have been on this list. Let me go to him real quick here. I think it's Aizawa. Yeah, so Soichi Aizawa. This guy. How was this guy not on the list? I'm gonna zoom up real quickly. This guy had a great arc in the story. He was actually, besides Nier, I liked this guy a lot. Of all the detectives, he was not fooled by Light's BS. He worked with Nier to bring him down. He had to lead the police force because Kira was threatening the police. Everyone had to resign, and those who stayed on to take on Kira were possibly in danger. But he had a family that were, he had a daughter. She was like, what, 4 or 6? Young age, obviously. And he couldn't continue to fight Kira because if he gets killed, there was no way to take care of the family. Now, no, that's not what it was. It's not he couldn't take care of the family. He had no financial means to. That's right. And of course, he could die as well. But they actually had a fun, and he didn't like that, so he ditched L. I respect that. But, like, how do you not... What I'm confused about is you picked... and that's not you, the author. You picked a minor character who didn't have much of an arc. You picked someone who you said didn't have much of an arc over someone who actually did. Unbelievable. This guy was actually quite important to the story because it's due to his involvement that it's to his involvement that they catch Kira because he leaked so much information to Nier. I'm always confused why Light let that go. This guy, like, he spilled the beans. It's because of what he told Nier that Light ended up losing. So, but yeah, like, this was a great character. Yeah, it's true, by the way. You're absolutely right. His hair had the best arc. But I'm just saying, like, how, of all the characters in the story, how do you not include this guy? That was awesome. I didn't even like Death Note, but this guy was awesome. Very disappointing. Um, let's see. Anyone else that we might have missed? Let's see. Who's that guy? Kyosuke Teru Mikami. Oh, we talked about him. The task force. Mogi. I'm not sure I feel Mogi. I don't think he was bad, but so we have um yeah, Higuchi. He was interesting. They have a great character arc. Yeah, you know what? You might be I might have slated him over Ryuk, but yeah. Kenzo Mogi. Did he have a character arc? Oh, I would say as much as Matsuda if we're going to talk about character arc, because he was also pretty involved when he was Misa's agent, and he also had to play the role of like this charismatic agent, and he had to take care of Misa as well when she was in isolation towards the end of the series. So I guess Mogi, you could have put him on there. This guy was killed, right? Was he didn't he die when he tried to enter the building? Is that this guy? Hold on. Wasn't he killed? Yeah, yeah, he was killed. That's right. So we got this guy. What else we got here? I thought that guy who left early on came back to join them later. Like there was a detective who he was like, I'm out. I wasn't interested, but he came back later. I can't remember his name though. He's not listed here. I thought he would join them towards the end of the show, but I don't see him listed here. Like, is there a listing of the Japanese police force? Cause I thought there was a guy who left originally, and then he came back. Where was it? This guy, right? Did this guy? Yeah, Hideki. Did he? Was he involved in the second half of the series? Am I making stuff up? Yeah, Light Yagami took over L's identity following his death. By that time, Mello's nearest story arc began with the kidnapping of these two people. Yeah, he joined the team. He had a good arc too because he initially wasn't involved and he joined and he helped out. So that's another guy you could have put on this list. Um, yeah, really weird. And then if you want to talk about the special people who helped out, um like Giovanni or Hallie Linder, they're pretty important too, right? Yeah, I don't know. This is just weird. I mean, there are certain things you could. This is a debatable list, obviously, but not putting this man on there is already a fail, in my opinion. Okay, let's go to some comments real quick. Okay, let's see. I rooted for Light until the end. Hello. L always gave me the I'm not like other girl energy, but his death was super depressing. Yeah, it was. His hair had the best arc. Yep. I think the writer of the article forgot about Aizawa. Well, here's the thing. You're right. That's probably what happened, but that's no excuse. If you're going to write an article that thousands of people are going to see, for better or for worse, in this case for worse, then you need to do your homework. And I also find it odd how this person remembered a character that appeared in like 2 episodes, but couldn't remember, the man Aizawa. That I don't understand. Who wrote this article? This is not an insult to the person. I'm just curious who wrote the article. Was it a woman or a man? Maybe the person was horny. I don't know. Wait. I think it was a girl. Ritvik Mitra? Who is that? Is there an about? No, there isn't. I thought the bottom it tells you like this person is a anime fan their whole life and they love everything. And no, nothing, no BS thing. Okay, well, anyhow, if Naomi's on the list, her husband Ray Pember should have been listed too. I agree. Ray should have been on here. If you're gonna put one, put the other. Don't like when you start picking the low end characters on a list. That's when you fudged up. And that's why the Geass one was just as bad because they did the same thing. They oh god, that article nearly killed me. Um, I don't know how I'm still here to this day because of it. But like when I went to that article, it was like, where is it? Have they made any new articles lately? Let's see. See this article here, the 10 best episodes according to IMDb. What's the value in writing this article? I've always wondered if like this is more of a rant, but like I just ooh. Okay, one other point. I don't know if the point of summarizing the top episodes based off IMDb is relevant. Like, how's that valuable? You could just go IMDb and look it up yourself. What's the difference? Or the top 10 popular characters according to Mal. Then just go to Mal. Why would I go to here? Look at this. The top times Geass was effective and 5 times it wasn't. Okay. I guess we have 3 articles we can do. I'll keep that in mind. So in this one too, it was the same thing. They had like arcs for the characters, and it wasn't. It was just kind of lame because they didn't include people in here that could have been relevant. I don't recall if I discussed who should have been on the list, who wasn't, but they definitely missed some people. So it's one of those things where if you're doing some research or talk about an article like this, do your research. And the thing about Death Note, the reason why I don't give them a pass compared to Geass in this respect is that no Schneisel. Wait, hold on. Was Schneisel there? I wasn't really scrolling through it that quickly. Let me see. Yeah, no Schneisel. Good observation. Back to the point I was making was with Geass, there are so many characters who are important to the story on some level that I can see why you might miss some people. But Death Note has a pretty small cast of characters, so it's inexcusable you could forget Aizawa, and it's even more inexcusable that Mello and Nier are so low. They had a more important role in the story than Naomi, than arguably Taka, arguably Misa, definitely Ryuk, and definitely Matsuda. I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, and they don't justify. Like, it was so sad with the article too. Is like sometimes they make really good points. Like, this one is fantastic, uh, and this one's good too, as is this one. But some of these are just like personal opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at least be intellectually honest and say that this is a list based on how we feel about the anime in terms of our characters, and not based on the arcs. And like I said before we started this, I actually defined what it was. They didn't do that. This is important because you have to justify like why be bad or good based on some kind of barometer, some kind of metric. Like you can write a hit piece all you want and then claim it's factual when it's not factual. So bad. I feel like people who write these articles don't even watch the show they're writing about. No, they don't. They don't. They go on Wikipedia and they do some research. I actually have proof of this because here I'll prove it right now. Right? Let me go to CBR article. Here it is. It's I just one actually I made an article video about this many months ago. So in this Nina article here, the last point they make is this. She got over her xenophobia. And I argued there's no proof of this in the story. So I wondered where they came up with this. If you type in Nina Einstein, let's see. I might have done this in the actual video, I don't remember. If you type in Nina Einstein, and you search for racism, or racist? Where was it? Whoopsies. Oh, maybe it was wedding. Hold on. I'm not crazy. Yes. See this? Uh, she's slave for execution. She's also seen a picture of Led and Ogi's wedding, having apparently gone over her xenophobia. Let's go back to the article. Um, she just got over her xenophobia. She was seen to participate in the wedding of Leda and Ogi's ceremony, which was a Japanese/Britannian wedding. So she got over her xenophobia. This was never ever stated in the story. You could infer one from the other, but I never got the impression she actually was not racist by the end of the story. But the point I'm making is that instead of watching the show to come up with that conclusion, they looked on Wikipedia because they even used the same wording. See, got over her xenophobia, got over her xenophobia. That's how I know that people don't actually watch the show. They go on Wikipedia and get information that way. I mean, it's almost word for word from the article. It's from the web page itself. That's how I was very suspect about this because, I'm not a Geass savant. Okay, I don't think there is such a thing. But I would remember if Nina said, I used to hate Japanese people, but now I don't hate them anymore. They're good people. I don't recall her ever saying that once. Going to a wedding means absolutely nothing. It doesn't mean anything. She could still be a closeted racist because she never clearly says it. But they took the information from this page. That's how you know they're full of crap. Yeah. So there you go. Just proved their retard. I just proved how stupid they are. And keep in mind too, this article, just so you know, this article is basically based on truth statements. Meaning that they're saying that here are aspects of Nina that weren't well written, but they were written, implying these are actual facts of the story. And what I found funny is that that's not a fact. That's an opinion. So basically what you're saying is you don't understand someone's opinion of a character that you think is a fact. It's stupid. Oh man, this article was the worst. And that's saying something because you should, in fact, the article was so bad, you actually had someone comment on it and say that, like, you missed the whole point of the story. I'm like, yeah. Pretty much. Let's see. Yeah, she forgave Zero, but never acknowledged her racism. Yeah, she never did. Unless I'm like... And by the way, I mentioned the video, and I guess I can reiterate it here. When I watched the Resurrection, Lucha the Resurrection, I was actually paying attention to parts where the way she acted around other people. Like, did she ever say, did she ever treat anyone differently or acknowledge any, like, sign that she wasn't racist? I mean, there was a part where, or not part, but the whole time she was with Lloyd and Cecile. So, if she really wasn't racist, would she only be with those two people? Again, I might be reading more into this, but I was trying to find some kind of anything, like grasping straws from the new film to find any indication that she clearly wasn't racist anymore. And all I got was nothing. She doesn't say anything out loud. That doesn't mean anything. She spends most of her time with Lloyd and Cecile. Again, doesn't mean anything. This is the kind of thing where even if she said it out loud, I still wouldn't believe it. So that was that was bad. And like I said here, it caused a little bit of controversy. No, it didn't, because it didn't even happen. It didn't even happen. I don't recall. I go on Reddit a lot for Geass. If you're on there, you probably see me all the time. And I read all the complaints about Nina, and no one has ever said anything that I could think of that discussed this idea about her. I do recall the Table Coon is always brought up, obviously. Her racism, her genocidal tendencies, if you want to call them that. But I've never seen anyone discuss the idea that because she got over racism so quickly, it was a problem. I never read that. It's amazing when they make statements and you're like, what? we were able to go this direction, but since you brought up how crappy CBR is, this is what happened. I'm back to this point again. I rewatched the ending of Geass today, and Nina didn't openly get over her racism, and that's confirmed is that she felt really bad about what she did. She wanted to fix things. Right. She even told Lelouch, like, she said, like, I'm not even doing this to forgive you. I'm doing this for Yuffie, you know? I'm still pissed off and stuff. So, yeah, I don't even know. I rewind, yeah, exactly. She never openly got over anything. It was so weird. She probably wouldn't even regret the FLEIJA launch. It was most effective were Japanese. Yeah, probably. There's no doubt about it. I wouldn't, well, hard to say, but probably the case. Because she didn't really suggest when she was upset that she killed Britannians instead of Japanese. She was upset that she killed people, period. Um, I will say if she killed Zero, she probably wouldn't have been upset. But she realized like she killed lots of people. Like she was just calculating numbers. It never made sense to her until she actually did it. But even then, it's still it's just so weird. Like you make a statement like that and you don't have actual evidence. Wikipedia is not proof. Okay, Wikipedia says, and there's another thing I guess I could bring up. Um, and this is not definitive, by the way. And I asked someone about it because I wasn't sure. If you type in what's it called, Toto? Yeah. You type Toto in, and it says that he married. Where is it? Where is it? Wow. Grab anchor. Okay, it's not here. Give me a second here. I don't know what I mentioned here. Let me go to let me search for Nagisa Chiba. Yeah, it says here she's married to Toto and they have a child. And that's never stated at all in the story. Especially in Resurrection, which is what they're referring to. There's no proof that they're married or have a kid. There is one scene in the film. I'm not sure if they have it here. They probably don't. There's one scene in the film where she's like, there's a child on Toto. This is the Resurrection film during the ending credits. But that was Ogi's kid. That wasn't her child. There's a part in the film where Toto says, it's always good to get married. And if you pause it just at the right moment, you see Nagisa looking at Toto with a face of disgust. So that's how I know they're not married. So the fact that they said that she is married to him and has a child just shows that Wikipedia is not a reliable source of information. I need that to be definitive. If it's not definitively stated, it's not a fact. That's just headcanon or misinterpreting the story. I'm trying to find if they have it here. Let's see. What if I typed in Lelouch? I mean, I have another means. Actually, I can find our means. Give me a second here. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. I believe I can pull it up. It's the very end of the film. I'm sure you guys saw it, but never thought much of it. Yes. Here it is. See this? Okay. You guys should be able to see this now, right? So in this photo here, you see the baby on Toto, and Nagisa's like loving whatever, but that's Ogi's kid. That's not their child. He's just taking care of it for fun. It's a child. Taking care of the baby for fun. It's not yeah, it's not his child. And even like they don't confirm anything. This is not proof of anything. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but the point is like you can't. It's not you can't look at Wikipedia as a valuable resource because a lot of times they come with ideas that are not canonically stated in the story. Now, I'm not against them getting married. I want them to be married. That'd be great. The point I make is that yeah, he looks like Ogi. Yeah, I know, but people actually thought that was their child, and that's why it said in that page that Ogi has Toto and Chiba are not only married, they have a kid. Which, by the way, if you let's be a little more realistic or honest here, they could be married, they could have a kid and not be married. So it doesn't mean anything. Lelouch should have told the truth about Yuffie. Yeah, actually, you're a little late here, but we were talking about, I was talking about some bad strategies, and I was saying how Luke should have been honest with the Black Knights about who he was. I don't know about Yuffie though, that might have been difficult, but definitely with like who he was, and same with the Geass. So I will say that when the bomb exploded and she saw the death, it might have been something that made her realize she was a monster, not that other people, not the other people. It broke her mind. It may have been enough. I mean, uh, true, but again, I liked. This is something where it needs to be definitively stated because her racist character trait was a big part of a lot of her motivations. So you have to state it in some obvious way that she's no longer racist. And simply attending a wedding that had a pure Britannian and a pure Japanese um, doesn't mean anything to me. That's what I'm trying to point out there. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, I had work to do. I don't care, man. It's not relevant. I'm just saying you weren't here. I have a question that always confused me. All right, you ask away. How long is the stream been going on for? Oh, we're fine. We're only in the 2 hour and a half mark. I got another like, I don't know, maybe go another 10, 20 minutes. All right. I guess we could take some questions. Why not? Normally, what I'd probably be doing at this point is playing like Chances Are Code, but as you know, Chances Are Code is not out yet. So we're gonna stare at Nina now for the answer questions. I'm just kidding. I won't subject you to such awfulness. We'll not do that. I'll instead do this. Instead of subjecting you to Nina, I'll subject you to something a little more appropriate. Give me a second here. Let's see. Uh, yes. Here. All right. Does this make it? Can I do full screen? Well, that's so lame. That's the full screen. All right, whatever. All right, we'll now take questions. Okay. Did Lelouch love Yuffie, although he was his sister? Well, did he say that she was the first woman he might have loved? So I guess so. Um, to be honest, the the royal family isn't exactly a model of ethics and morality. Charles has like 4 wives, and a lot of the official fan art suggests there could have been incest in the family. And think about this, right? Doesn't Schneizel keep hitting on Schneizel keeps hitting on Cornelia in the series? So uh, I'm not saying Lelouch is a moral high ground. I'm not saying he's like a an evil human being, but to suggest that he is somehow morally a good person is debatable. So I would say that yeah, it was his sister, but just keep in mind that there's no morality, and the morality with these people is just is not the greatest. I'm gonna find the image real quick to show what I'm talking about. There's a part in the show. It was during the festival, I believe, where Cornelia was talking to Schneizel, and he's like, "You're more beautiful than the whatever," and she was basically blushing, and I'm like, "Dude, are you serious? That's your sister." I know, like, it's not your literal sister because of different mother, but still, really, that was yeah, that was disgusting. Wasn't it the festival? Because they brought the glass to Knightson. Why am I not seeing it? This is really annoying. I got the quote. Hold on. I'll just bring out the quote. That's probably the better. I do Kogias quotes, by the way. If you're on the Reddit, you'll probably have seen it. Anyways, here it is. Let me just where is it? Yeah. So this is what he says. This is what he tells um this is what he tells her. What a great honor being asked for assistance by Princess Cornelia, who is unmatched on the battlefield. But I'm sincere on the field of combat. You shine more beautifully and brightly than any flower or butterfly in a soiree. Yes, like the Flash herself. See, I was thinking that too, that it was a he was just being like friendly, but Cornelia's response was like really weird. She was embarrassed, like almost like a flirty way. Her response wasn't like someone who was flattered. It was like she was like, dude, like don't do this here. There's people watching. That's how I was all the time. Like, dude, don't like look at this expression. Is this someone who's is this somebody who is like flattered, or like this is embarrassing? And she's like, dude, like don't do this in public. That's not an expression of someone who's um I mean, her response to this was extremely telling. Like, I don't think someone who responds like this. And keep in mind, Cornelia never acts like a woman, like a traditional feminine woman in Code Geass. She's very aggressive, has certain masculine traits, specifically leadership roles and commanding respect from her troops. So the fact that she was acting feminine like this towards Schneisel indicates to me that there was something more going on than simple flattery. That's all I'm saying. I could read more into it, but this was kind of disturbing. And then if you want to go further with it, hold on. Let me I didn't want to do that. Shoot. I get it back again. Wait, did I get it back? Oh no, crap! I hit the wrong button. Damn it! I can get it back later. Oh, I got it back now. Cool. And then in the film, this was what I was bringing up earlier. So he not only hits on her there, he hits on her here in the film. Let's see if I can find it. During the wedding, he says to her, "I can't wait to be at your wedding," and she's like, "Oh, please." I'm like, come on, man. Even if it's not incest, it's very creepy. Like siblings don't talk to each other like that. And that's what I was saying before with Lelouch. Like, I don't think he grew up in a very ethical household. So is it wrong? Of course it is. But I don't think he cares in that respect. If you remember, not only in Yuffie were saying like who's gonna marry Lelouch first. Now, I didn't think that was too weird, because kids do weird stuff all the time when it comes to relationships because they don't know any better. Like, kids will always say like, yeah, I'm gonna marry you when I get older. Like kids don't know what they're talking about. So I kind of gave that a pass, but yeah, that was kind of disturbing. Yeah, this beautiful scene. I don't have the subtitles, but if you watch the film, you know what he's telling her. I hope to be at your funeral one day. Funeral. I'm at a wedding one day, and she's like, he's like, oh, please stop. And by the way, look at Jeremiah and Anya's faces here. They look so uncomfortable right now, and they should be. They're like, what is going on with these two? I never noticed, like, their faces they look so uncomfortable watching these two like flirt. I don't know. It's I never noticed. They're like, dude, get me out of here. I do not want to be here right now. It's kind of funny. I could read more into this. All right, I was kind of ignoring you guys' comments. Okay. Okay, let's see. Lelouch called Yuffie the first one they were loved, right? I remember that scene. For Lelouch and Yuffie was also probably when they were children, so far back. So for them, it was probably more like a childhood crush back when they were kids. I know it's uncomfortable to think about, but Nelly had a crush on Lelouch. Yeah, she did. They said that when they were kids. Yeah, the royal family is not they're kind of immoral. Which is ironic because they claim to be, just. Like the way Charles does his whole like rhetoric about Britannia superiority, even though there's nothing superior about Britannians. But yeah, a lot of people think that Schneider was gay and had a secret relationship with Canon. Yeah, they did. And if they had a secret relationship, it was probably BDS, because, let's see if we can find it here. There's a picture drama. I took a photo of it. Not because I'm into that stuff, but because I was grabbing photos anyways for articles and videos. Do I have it? It was really weird. Let's see. I think it was the casino episode of the picture dramas, and they were going back like to the flashback of when Schneisel first met Canon. It was really weird. Like, if you ever know how messed up Schneisel is, there's literally a picture drama where he beats him he whips him, and I was like, what is this nonsense? No, it's not this one. No, not the one with the belly dancers. Oh, that was rich, right? The belly dancers. Yeah, this. If Schneizel was gay for canon, he's into kinks. Look at this. Get better image maybe. Yeah. This is how Schneider treats the people he loves, I guess. I never had to whip anyone. What the hell? Consequently, I never had to whip anyone after that. Out of context, that sounds really disturbing. What the hell? Not only were you nice, but you didn't mind using a whip to enforce the rule. Not only were you nice, but you used the whip. You always been a model leader, a perfect, and you whipped people. Like, Megan Examine was your best option back then. So Cannon's a masochist. What the hell? I gotta be honest. I've watched this period drama a couple of times. I do not remember him having this conversation. You're the kind of person you are. So that's why I want to see your future. All right, maybe there is something going on here, because what was that? I'm glad you beat me. I deserved it. This is weird. Okay. All right. Schneisel might so I mean Schneisel might be gay, or he might have no he might be, asexual. I don't know. I'm just saying he was flirting with Cornelia for whatever reason. Now, he flirts with a lot of women, it's not just Cornelia. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, he flirted with Cecile too, which I didn't like, because Cecile is don't treat her like that. But in that episode, like right here, it was kind of cute. See, he grabs her hand, and then I believe he kissed it too. She was embarrassed. He apologized, and then the whole time, she's like she's so like, look at that. She's just so amazed that the prince is with her. She can't believe it. Look at that. Look at that face. So either Schneisel is the biggest womanizer in Code Geass history, and he has no real emotions, but he pretends to, or he's both. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Yeah, this goes out too. So if Schneisel is secretly gay, whatever. I mean, I don't care. It's just funny to me how he was very suspiciously flirting with Cornelia. It might have been from being compared to her idol, Marion the Flash. Oh, you think that Cornelia was blushing because Schneisel compared her to Marion the Flash, the woman that she looked up to? All right, that's a good argument. I can see it both ways. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that, but I've just never seen Cornelia act like that before in her life. So either Schneisel wasn't flirting with her, he definitely knew how to get her to act, how to embarrass her, because no one else seems to be able to do that in this story. Like, Guilford likes her a lot, but he can't get her to act like that. Anyways, Schneisel was trying to come across as a gentleman to Cornelia, but he was going so far that it made her feel flustered. Okay. Hey, look, it could be. I could see it both ways. Just remember, this is the same guy who wanted to nuke almost the whole planet. Yeah, look, Schneider lost his mind. There's a part in during the massacre of the Special Administrative Zone of Japan where Schneider literally says, "What madness is this?" And I'm thinking to myself, this is the same guy who wants to nuke the world later. So obviously he's a bit of a hypocrite. Where is that part where he goes like, "What madness is this?" I don't have it. I don't have the image of him asking that question. What a shame. Let's see. Is he listed here? I don't have it. It doesn't matter. Okay. Whether or not Lelouch and Saku were in love, it can't be denied that they were obsessed with each other. As both friends and enemies, they were always thinking of each other. Yeah, that's true. Oh, there's like, you know how many in that video I made about Lelouch and his romance or relationships? You know, like people comment on it by saying it's him and Suzaku are a couple. It's like every single person. So I'm well aware there's a strong, I'd say, minority who believe in that. That's true. The picture drama should be considered canon. Haha, I love the joke you did there. Was that a pun? You said canon, like because we're talking about canon. Anyways, um, they're just fan service and jokes. Um, I think they are canon though, because they do discuss events. I thought they were canon. They like they're literally called like the number they give you is the number it takes place in the story. For example, I'm not going to show the images because it's a little inappropriate, but there's a in the picture drama 3 point was it something? This one always comes to mind because of the this famous one. I'm going to show you one image and you'll know what I'm talking about once I flash it on the screen. This one. So in this picture drama, um, they talk about like the past of Millie and Nina. They talked to Colin about the outfit she had to wear because her clothes was drying. So what I'm trying to make is that they were canon. That was my understanding. They fill in the gaps. There's one story. Where is it with Jeremiah? No, not this one. Where it explains like why he felt so upset about. No, not the cross dressing. Was it? I thought it was four. Yeah, this one. In this picture drama, they discuss how he. Oh, what's with that face? Let's go with this one. Discussed how he couldn't protect Marion, and it always bothered him, and that's why he also failed to protect Clovis. That's why this mattered to him so much. So that actually was an important story element. So I didn't think they were fan service, but maybe I misunderstood something. I believe the quote was not for the death, but for the fact that Yuffie was the one who ordered it. I don't think the deaths affected him, only that it made no sense for her to order it. Oh, he sound okay. Um, he was quite surprised though. Like he had a look of horror on his face. If that was the case, then why would he be so? The look of horror was like I thought was in response to all the dead people. If he was just kind of upset with the order, would he just have like a normal smug look and just say, that didn't seem right. That's not what I expected. So I don't know. I see your point. But when his expression was of horror, seeing all the dead people. That's how I saw it. But hey, both ideas make sense to me. The scene of Chanel being horrified by Yuffie and murder spree seemed to imply that he had more morality than Charles and Detard. Well, Detard, I don't think in any. I think Detard was also a sociopath. I mean, he didn't care about broadcasting it live to everyone during the massacre. He was just like, whatever. If it helps out, it helps out. You know, like I believe he said, what was it? I don't know how Lelouch or Zero pulled it off, but it's incredible that he did or something. That's all he cared about. He didn't care if the people were dying. I think the reaction was from something that happened that he could not predict and not being used to that happening. I think we're all reaching here because I mean, here I can pull it up real quick so we all can analyze the face that kills the place. Give me a second here. Man, a lot of Schneider's discussions. You know, I should do a video discussing Schneider's character because there's so much to go over. Um, is this it? Yes. Here's the face he makes. Woo! Sorry, I shouldn't zoom in too much. But like, now, is this the face of someone who is disturbed because he didn't suspect a plan, or is he literally horrified by the deaths of so many people? I can see it both ways. I always assumed this was the face of someone who was horrified at what he was seeing. But maybe I'm wrong. I find it weird that Charles was overjoyed about Yuffie's murder spree. After all, his motivation came from being tired of seeing the family members betray each other for power, which led to his mom dying. Yeah, you can even go further with that statement because if his goal was to make the world a kind, gentler place, and he wanted to reunite the dead with the living, why would he care either way about the events of the SADs? Like, he was like, that's my boy killing people. Like, why would you be excited or angry? Why would you have an opinion? If your philosophy or your plan is to unite everyone who's dead or alive, then there literally is no significance in either event. Even Lelouch said, in turn, what was it, 21, that you must have saw, you didn't really care about the Black Rebellion. You just saw things like a nuisance. Like, it didn't matter to you at all. And that's how I thought he understood the situation. So Charles' response was kind of weird, actually. It contradicted his whole character, his whole goals. So yeah, I don't get that at all. I can answer any more questions. What time is it? Yeah, I got about 10 more minutes. I can answer any more questions you guys had about the show, since we're kind of having like a bit of a Q&A session here. And again, we'll be doing this probably in the future with when I play the game next month, hopefully. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I really am. Cornelia herself said Schneizel wasn't bad after being shot by him, but due to the circumstances that made him that way. Yeah, that's a good point to bring up, because I argue that Schneizel was a megalomaniac, and then I think it was Gladiator King pointed out that there's more to his character than just that. And at first I was like, I don't think so. But now I think about it, yeah, there might have been. I mean, Schneizel took the role of. Do I have the quote here? No, not that one. No. No. Where's the one? Yeah, this one. This is what Schneizel's whole motivation was based on. The idea that the true nature of people, they want to be controlled, and so he genuinely believed that, like, he was in a good thing, and as Cornelia pointed out, it was kind of the nature of things that got him that way. I actually just since we're on the topic, I actually just wrote that quote. I posted it, I believe, a couple days ago. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Cornelia says the following. Oh, did I have it saved? Darn it, I don't have it saved. But she said, he would have been a good person in a peaceful time, and he wasn't driven by ambition. I should have realized that. So, yeah, I can see that point where it was the circumstance that changed him to where he was, but he wasn't like inherently an evil person, which is a good point. What else we got here? I guess the scene existed just to paint Charles as a pure evil baddie. Yeah, but it's funny because he wasn't. That's why I didn't get that at all. I mean, and keep in mind too, Charles is in the sort of Akasha, so no one can watch him. I get why he made that speech when Clovis died, because he's still trying to keep the mask of evil Emperor Charles, but we know what his real motivations are, so that scene made no sense. Like, there's nobody watching him. Maybe that one guard, who wears like the cloak, the druid. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. I was just screaming. Well, do it quieter, okay? Being a druid and then sort of Akasha is a boring job. We're going to just change the world. I get that, but I'm not interested right now. But yeah, I don't know what the point of the scene was. I'd argue that he's a pragmatist. If death served a purpose, he's okay with it. War or to achieve further ends, similar to Lelouch, senseless death makes no sense, and Yuffie ordering it was shocking. Oh, so what you're saying is he was shocked at the death because it was meaningless death. But if there was a purpose behind it, it wouldn't shock him. Yeah, that actually could be, that is supported by the narrative, because after because of this crap, even civilians who have rejected war depend on the police, don't they? Everyone knows, don't they, that people are driven by their own desires. The lust that dwells within the soul of man cannot be denied. So why win the hearts and minds or tout some shiny ideology? Why not bring peace to the world with the system at power? So yeah, he'll kill people if it matters. Which is very interesting. So that's a good point. I still found this expression hilarious or weird. How long do you think the SADs would have lasted if the massacre didn't happen? To its bubble can easily hurt. Yeah, that's right. Okay. How long would it have lasted? Theoretically, probably until the Ragnarok connection. Because if they're, again, this is a lot of hypotheticals, right? Because oh, to me, sorry. Also, it reads that if the massacre didn't happen to me, it's a bubble that easily burst any day by the Brits protesting it. Yeah, it can be. But keep in mind, they have to do what the authority says. So if Yuffie's still alive and she's working with Lelouch or Zero, then what are they gonna do about it? Nothing. The reason why it wouldn't go away is because it has no bearing on Charles's plan. It doesn't matter. He literally told Lelouch that like everything you were doing was insignificant. I don't care. So the way I see it is the following. It probably will last on a Ragnarok connection. The only thing that Charles cared about was C2 and then the Ragnarok connection. Make sure everything was ready to go. That's all he cared about. So from that point of view, I think it would have lasted as long as it had to. Yeah, Britannia will be pissed off, but they can't do anything about it. They might like come try to tear it down, but if Yuffie's in charge, they're going to fight Suzaku. I would not fight Suzaku at any day of the week with that Lancelot and the Britannia military. Now, just because they turned on the Japanese people to kill them in the massacre, that doesn't mean that they still wouldn't obey Suzaku. Yuffie would have to die for it to fall apart, which is what happened in the original story. As long as Yuffie's alive, I could see it lasting until the Ragnarok connection. When I first watched Code Geass, I thought that Lloyd and Mao were the same character. Same hair color, I can see that. When Mao showed up, I thought it was Lloyd. That was the plot twist. That Lloyd was secretly a bad guy who was obsessed with C2 the whole time. You know what? That actually would have been a good plot twist. Does Lloyd look that similar? Let's find out. There's a good picture of Lloyd when he's in 21. He's looking at the computer screen for Yuffie. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Almost there. Where is it? Wasn't it? Oh no, I'm confusing things. I forgot. The film. No, it's 17. No. 18. 18, that's right. During Suzaku's celebration, Lloyd shows up. Yeah. Okay. So here's Lloyd. I'll exit full screen. Okay, so here's Lloyd. Now let's go to 16, and we'll compare him to Mao. It's a good picture of Mao when he's I don't think it's 16. It's at 15 where he goes to the gun store owner and he flashes his eyes in his face, and it was pretty terrifying. That poor guy. He didn't even know what hit him. I know you're selling stuff to the Black Knights. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, that was terrifying. Where is that clown? Oh, well. Here, let's try 16. He went to a gun shop. If I can't get that one, I'll get another close then. It doesn't really matter. I just like that picture because you actually get to see his full face. I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, we'll go to 15 then. I don't know why I can't find it. I know there's one episode where he went to the gun shop owner and he threatened him because he could read his mind, and he got a gun so he could. Oh, but was it 14? Maybe it was 14. Maybe that's why I'm like not finding it. It was a pretty pivotal moment, right? He went to get a gun and then it wasn't 14. All right, whatever. I'll stop wasting your guys' time. I'll just pick a. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. We just want to look at the face. So, all right. So here's Lloyd. Here is Lloyd. This one's better. This one's too close in. Okay, there's Lloyd, and now Mao. Well, I can kind of see it. Oh, his hair isn't his hair whiter than Lloyd's, unless he's wearing a wig. Well, if they were the same character, then Lloyd must have bullet holes in his body because he was shot up pretty badly. Is there a better photo like Yeah, I don't know. Like they have different hair color. I don't. Does he even? I forgot what his original eye color even was. Do we even know? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see it, but it doesn't mean it's not a thing. Yeah, they did dress in similar clothes. I mean, even here it's pretty. Well, that's the Britannian style in general. It's just strange. And they both spoke over in their top voices. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I never thought these two were remotely similar, but I I am intrigued though. That would have been a nice twist if they were the same character. And that would, by the way, if they were, this is my response. That's my response if they were the same character. Well, you know, the truth is, with any show you watch, it's not just Code Geass. You need to watch it multiple times because you miss certain things. Like even watching Death Note again, there were a bunch of stuff I forgot my first watch. I mean, keep in mind that was 10 years ago, but still, it's amazing. There were certain preconceived notions I had that I realized were wrong when I watched it again. Same with like Monster and Brotherhood. There's just things you forget. Yeah, that's right, Crimson King. That's why I don't know what his color was originally. Was it blue? I don't know. Let's see. Does the wiki have it? Is it the wiki is a good source of information? But I can look it up real quick. We got a couple more minutes here to do this. Let's see. What was the original eye color? It was black. It says it was black before. Is there proof of this? How do they know it was black? Is there any part of the story? Oh, this is it, by the way. This was the thing I was talking about. This image here. That's when he looked at the store owner. But oh, you know how you know? Oh wait, but no, no, you wouldn't know because when he died, the Geass left his eyes. But I don't think it reset before. Um, there's a part when he dies, the Geass goes away, but I don't know if it went back to his original color. Let's see. When C2 shoots him, I don't have the image. I don't think it changed colors, but it claims it's black. I don't know. I don't recall any scene in the story where you see him without the Geass power. His entire backstory, he's with C2 and she gave it to him. I have no idea. That would have been a good twist though. Um, yeah, that would have been a pretty good twist. Well, I think I think we're about done with it. We got so there's like 3 articles here. There's 3 articles left we can do. Um, we have we got like a couple on here that I don't even think are worth. They're not that great, but it's better than nothing, I guess. There's the what was it? 10 protagonists Lelouch couldn't defeat or something, and then there's also one here I think it was called. Where was it? And this one I guess, and then there's that Screen Rant article, which was yeah, stupid site. This one here. So we got 3 left to do. After that, I'm gonna look and start doing videos. One I was thinking about, I mentioned earlier, just to mention one more time. There's a video from Watch Mojo. Yeah, look at that. That looks familiar. Watch Mojo. Type in Code Geass. Yeah, right here. This video right here, Code Geass versus Death Note. I gotta figure out like how to do this correctly. I know video sharing can be very slow, and in case you guys didn't realize, my presentations, my quality is low on purpose, so I don't like lag out. But I definitely want to do a video like this or something. And we can go, and by we can go all. I have a bunch of like any Code Geass video we might start doing in the future. Um, if I do that though, I might want to get. What's with that photo? My God. I give it credit. It's kind of funny. Man, that's the derpiest eyes I've ever seen. So, yeah, we will. My voice is kind of like dying, But yeah, we'll look into that at some point. A couple more comments, then we're gonna call it. Okay, let's see. Mei Mao was secretly a long-lasting relative of Lloyd's. Yes, Kogias headcanon made true. Maybe if the SAS lasted that long, it would have ended up by Charles. It would have ended by Charles' hand to get C2 because I think by then her wish would have changed and no reason to go on with the plan, and Lelouch would not give up on the witch. I think she still wants to die. I don't think her meaning of life would have changed because Lelouch is having a nice time with Yuffie. Maybe it would, but again, the only reason why Lelouch had understanding of the only reason why Lelouch had any understanding of her feelings was because he saw her memories. But that's it. I mean, otherwise she wouldn't have believed him because she said, "I want to like make your dreams come true." So I see what you're saying, but at the same time, though, like C2's motivations changed because of that situation. It wasn't because of Lelouch was having a good time or a bad time. I'm not even saying you're suggesting it. I'm just saying like the times of peace might have changed her. If you're not saying that, then you can clarify. But that's how I interpret that statement. In terms of getting a C2, I mean that'd be pretty easy for him to do. I don't. I mean, would that change the story? Would Lelouch even care anymore about C2 if he had Yuffie and peace and Nelly was safe? I don't know. C2 wasn't a huge priority for Lelouch until much later in the story. Although, now I say that, he wouldn't let her go with Mao, so, yeah, I don't know. Debatable. But, it's a good... I didn't really give it a whole lot of thought, because it was like a flash question, but I don't think much would change. This is a good point. I didn't consider C2's wish. But yeah, what time is it? Oh, God, it's late. All right. Anywho, guys, we'll do this again next Sunday. I'll pick one of those topics. We'll vote on it because I like the community tab. That's literally why I it depends on fanfic you read exactly. Depends which one you guys want to vote for. And appreciate you for sticking around for the Death Note. I know this is not why you come here, but again, we're running out of articles, so maybe videos in the future. We'll see. Anyway, guys, have a good week, and I will see you guys next week.